it sounds like a big and exciting operation. How many people would you say are involved in today's operation?
Over 1,000 people from the NORAD command. Again, both military and civilians, but we have volunteers as well.
Oh, man, I love it, Galleon. Not only they got one guy tracking Rudolph, spending up taxpayer slave funds, 1,000. You know how much that's going to cost? I love it.
2.3 billion.
We're going to rack up a huge bill today using thousands of fucking troops to track an imaginary character and put it right in the slave's face. And they love it. Oh, I love, because they love it, I love it. Okay, you see how peaceful I am? That's how I attain peace, through acceptance. Peace through acceptance, brothers and sisters. If they want slavery and genocide, then you like it. I love it. PiNEALPOWER's here. Go ahead, PiNEALPOWER. Oh, he's streaming. There he goes. We're deep into the algorithm today. All right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we know what they're doing. We know they're keeping numbers down. Okay, we know they're not showing real counts of after numbers. Okay, I see it. I got all the stats and statistics showing what they're up to, and that's okay. Okay, because we're choosing peace through acceptance. If slaves love slavery and they don't want to hit the like button and share and subscribe and all the rest of the bullshit, fuck them. Okay.
Paulie, tell me how a stream with over 300 views the next day has just over 200. How does that work? How do people unsee a stream? Like, how do people unwatch something exactly?
That's the thing. You're not understanding. What is that now? Who's drywalling?
That was Pineal. That's why he took off fast.
Okay. Someone's scraping fucking putty. Sounds like they're drywalling. Okay. Yeah. You were saying the how do people unsee it? You're not understanding. You're in inversion land where things can be unseen. I've had that experience on the broadcast where I checked the numbers right after, and then a couple hours later, there's 500 less than was already there. So, yeah, those folks watched the whole broadcast and decided to wipe it from their memory. It was so bad, is all I can conclude. I'm such a fucking sob-sit theorist, and the broadcast was so bad that they chose to unsee it. They got some kind of operation, Men in Black style. Moose Creature, what the hell did you come up here for? Do you have something? Is it Boshane? You want to go after Boshane?
Oh yeah, I mean, if he's gonna go around, am I still here? Yeah, if he's gonna go around saying that he's gonna take you and the crew down or whatever, and tell everybody how he's some Fed who's working for the intelligence agency and collecting data on all of us, I don't think he belongs here.
Well, I mean, if he wants to show how desperate he is, showing up for years on end, trying to get attention and validation, he's free to do that.
That Talcott thing, like by the time he takes us down, wars and suffering are going to be ended and legal secrets are going to be a thing of the past. So, I mean, it's pretty mundane.
Yeah, I mean, why would you want to take me or us down? I mean, what exactly did we do? Or is it because you are doing something or you're into something? Like, what is that? Well, I'm the enemy now? All of a sudden? When did I become the enemy?
When you made fun of his 5 viewers on the live stream.
Oh, I didn't make fun of his 5 viewers. I made fun of him saying, I only have 5 viewers. Fuck you, Paul. How am I the reason for you not have viewers? I didn't even know you were live streaming. Maybe it's you are the reason. That is you. Why you have 5 viewers? Because you suck. I didn't do that. And then he wants to show he's mad because I have more than 5 viewers. So, there's nothing I could do in these scenarios. Folks want to hate on me and be jealous and envious and think that they're so great that he said he should have 5 million viewers. That's what he claimed. He goes, 5 viewers instead of 5 million. And then he cut it off halfway. Said, fuck me. So that's how it goes. I mean, imagine being me, Boshane. I'm funny. Some might say I'm talented. I have a great singing voice.
Fucking liar.
Okay.
That was inappropriate.
Yeah, everyone. No, he's free to express. He did. You don't have to accept the claims I'm making. I mean, these are subjective claims. But, imagine being a god of all media and not being able to get over a couple thousand, not even getting credit for that. My numbers have been going lower than ever. The more that I promote, the more that I'm restreamed. It's fascinating. I go, how do you promote and then get more restreams and have the numbers steadily go down? And, again, algorithm central. I notice when you do little to nothing and you're not known, you get access. But that's just how it goes. So I'm not mad about it. Your thoughts before we move on, Moose Creature, PiNEALPOWER?
Oh, I want him to know that we forgive him. We forgive him because he knows not what he does. If he puts down the bottle, maybe he'll be a better person tomorrow, even today. And Merry Christmas, Boshane. Thank you for hate watching.
Yeah, I don't see Boshane down there. So either I blocked him or he blocked me. And hold on, what is this? Okay. Thank you, Travis T, for your contribution. He says, peace and blessings, Paul. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Come zoom tight.
Was that a sneeze?
No.
Play the clip.
All right, I'll give him the clip for old time's sake. Why not? This is the famous clip of the Moose Creature lying so pathologically that I asked him if he sneezed, and he immediately said no because he knew he sounded like a woman. They're cracking up at stuff that makes no sense.
You know what it is?
Did you? Was that a real sneeze? Did you just sneeze?
No.
No.
No, it just broken soul, right? No. Travis D says, peace and blessings, Paul. I'm still on cloud 9 from my dismissal Friday. Well, there's more to come, sir. You think that's going to be your last interaction with the courts? I think you got another thing coming. Same probably said for me. While I don't make that an assured outcome, I'm aware that, anytime you could be tested and challenged. So, folks getting more dismissals here, while other folks claim that there's no wins. It's not real. He's a sob sid. He's got Dunning-Kruger. But they just keep getting dismissals. So does it work for everybody? Not necessarily. I don't even think it's meant to. The point is you got to try something new and different. You got to break out of the box. That's the idea. It's not even about the results. When the results come, you go, well, that's great. That's just a verifier of what I've already validated. So you got to have some conviction and purpose and meaning in your beingness that you live from. It seemed to be the test here. Okay. Oh, yeah, we never finished NORAD. Let's finish NORAD.
From the community who are in our call center, and a parent or a child can call 1-877-446-6723 or go to the site NORAD, NORAD, Santa, SATA.org to have direct connection to a call center or watch the live satellite coverage on map of where Santa is.
And this operation has been going on since, I believe, the 1950s. Does Santa have the same route year after year, or does it seem to change each year? I mean, has tracking him gotten any easier throughout the decades?
Yes, 68 years that this command has been tracking Santa. Generally, we indicate through the records that that starts in the Pacific, and travels, but he does not necessarily have to take the same route because he's Santa. So that's why it's so key for us to use our defense systems to be able to track, again, that infrared signal.
Right.
So we can make sure he has a safe journey globally.
Right. It's important to criminalize. I mean, keep Santa so safe that you track Rudolph's red nose. This isn't propaganda at all, folks. Right. This is sharing a holiday tradition. Yeah, I mean, we generally observe Santa pretty much going the same way. Sometimes he goes a different way because he's Santa, but luckily we could track him everywhere. Make sure he's safe, huh? Right.
Holy shit.
Thoughts? What?
My thoughts are I'm going to tell all the children, you could be Santa Claus when you grow up, kids. It's true.
Well, they could argue I already am Santa Claus. I'm slightly overweight. I also have a red nose like Rudolph. So maybe I'm a part reindeer creature, and I'm pretty sure NORAD's tracking and tracing me to keep me safe. So that's a holiday tradition. They've been tracking me for a few years to keep me safe. So I'm also joining in the holiday tradition. Thank you, NORAD, for your safety services. Go ahead.
Paul, has anyone ever told you you kind of look like Tiberius Wells from the
No, I have
from the
no
show
idea who
Black
that
Lightning?
is. Is that a positive thing or a negative thing?
It's a dude who's on a show called Black Lightning.
I
Well, I'm
suspect
glad
he's
it's a dude.
extremely good looking.
You should look up a picture of him. You kind of look like he could be your father.
What's his name now?
Look up the
Give me the
albino
damn
dude
name.
on Tiberius Wells.
Hey,
from
you're
Black
already
Lightning.
saying look up the albino person, so you're trying to insult me.
No, I'm saying you look like you're him.
Okay. It's coming up some Greek guy. Yeah, okay. Thanks for letting me know I look like someone who's albino. Appreciate you. Kind of lifting my spirits in the holiday season. Snafu Cruise down there. Daisy loves criminals, frauds, traitors. See, why are you doing that? The woman already said she's going to fuck me for the holiday season, and you're already trying to throw a monkey wrench into those words. Could you shut up and stay away from that woman, please? You've helped enough. You've done enough here, Snafu.
He's like the opposite of a wingman. You know what I mean? You go out with
He's
your
like
boy.
a broken wingman.
Yeah. He's the one that if you're in the fighter jets right next to, you're hoping he crashes so that way you can, get away safely.
Yeah, you're a broken wingman and you're causing a tailspin almost consistently. He's the blackbird of the panel, right? Take these broken wings and learn to fly, Snafu, and get out of my face. All right. Did we? Oh, what was that? There's a box. Look at that. It's a hell of a piece of technology, huh? It's like a fucking. There's solar panels on that thing. It's a part satellite. It's got a camera on the bottom, a piece of a mountain to kind of camouflage it. It's got a log processing device on the front in case you got to do some woodworking or some landscaping. What is that, Galleon? Did Elon invent that? That's part of the NORAD tracker?
And certainly when he arrives into North America. But the one technical part of this thing, and we don't know how he knows, is kids have to be asleep before he will come and deliver presents. So he may bypass the house if the kids are up, but he'll always come back if those kids are asleep. So it helps the parents and the kids to make sure those kids are sleeping during his time while he's in over the country.
How
I'll
creepy.
make sure I get to bed.
This is so creepy. They tell make sure you're asleep, children, so Santa could sneak around in your house, and we're gonna track him with NORAD. What world have I descended into? What did I do in a past life? Be part of this hell.
It kind of makes me think that they're trying to recruit children to the military.
It's pretty much sounds like Santa Claus is Jeffrey Epstein. Children have to be sleeping when he makes entrance, and NORAD's supposedly tracking him. We can never get any positive detail. All right. Santa Claus didn't kill himself. That's all I'm going to say. Say it now before it happens. Get out
Santa
ahead of it.
didn't Epstein himself, indeed.
Whoa. Okay. This is why I can't have him up here. He's very controversial. Israeli military confirms loss of 14 more troops as war intensifies. Whoa.
This morning, despite growing global pressure for a ceasefire, the war in Gaza rages on. Israel confirming 14 more of its troops have been killed, bringing the total to 153 during 2 months of ground combat. But Israel's military also claiming battlefield victories, saying it ambushed Hamas terrorists after luring them out of a building with decoy shots. NBC News can't verify that account. In northern Gaza, scenes of destruction and despair following intense Israeli attacks. Bodies decomposing and a hospital in ruins, as the Hamas-run health ministry says more than 200 Gazans were killed yesterday alone. That is dampening hopes that a hard-fought UN Security Council resolution passed on Friday will quickly end the bloodshed or the humanitarian suffering. The U.S. has been pushing Israel to scale back its bombardment and protect Palestinian civilians. Last night, President Biden and Prime Minister Netanyahu holding their 16th phone call since the war erupted. Israel says a permanent ceasefire is a non-starter, but Hamas says that's the only way it will release more hostages. More than 100 are still in Gaza. Under the pouring rain in Tel Aviv, thousands of Israelis rallying for their loved ones, including Sharon Aloni Cuneo, released after 52 days in a hostage exchange last month, along with her 3-year-old twins. Her husband, David, is still in Gaza. Every hour is eternity, she says, and every day is infinity. And Emily, the situation is also heating up in the Red Sea south of Israel, where the U.S. says that Iran-backed Houthi rebels launched 4 drones yesterday at a U.S. Navy ship. The Navy shot down all 4 drones. Emily?
Josh Letterman, thank you for bringing us those latest developments.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every
Al,
weekday
Al's
at
still in
11 a.m.
action?
Eastern, 8
Look at
Pacific
Al go,
on our
man.
streaming channel
Huh?
today all day. To watch, head
Fuck yeah.
to today.com/.
Al Roker's not leaving. You're going to have to pack his body up.
I met that dude.
Here we
I met
go.
Al Roker on a staircase in South Beach when I was working a.
No,
Right
you
outside the
didn't.
gay club?
Let's be clear. You didn't meet Al Roker on a staircase. You harassed Al Roker on a staircase while he was on his way to fulfill his purpose.
He was coming down the stairs with his hat like that, trying to, didn't want to be noticed.
Trying to not be seen and be harassed, and you completely ignored that cue.
I said, Al?
Your autistic way. No, it's not me.
All right, well,
Yeah,
Paul,
no, he tried to
Paul,
pretend it wasn't.
I'm here to challenge what your statement
Here
about
we
Santa
go.
Claus committing
Oh, there goes
suicide,
Christmas.
okay?
The Grinch just showed
Listen,
There goes the broadcast.
Santa Claus never committed suicide, okay? He got shot 6 times in the back of the head, okay? He never committed suicide.
Santa got shot 9 times like 50 Cent. No? All right.
Yeah, it's definitely not a suicide, but
Stupid son of a bitch.
Yeah, you didn't have to come up here and ruin the broadcast for Christmas. Whoever you're doing this for, Cage, is just not right.
I'm doing it for you.
Cleveland says get him out the paint. They can't handle it. Cleveland, could you get up here? You're a co-producer at this point. You have StreamYard keys. You should be up here moderating. Okay? I need a producer at this point. I can't do it all alone.
Can't do it with me as a producer either. I'd throw his ass out when he walked in. I'm terrible at it.
All right, Cage, anything else?
You'll be all right, buddy.
That was profound.
All right, let's move on. Folks are happy to see Cage here, I'm sure. He always brings something extra to the broadcast.
Can you tell us about Malkuth, Cade?
Well, yeah, if you look at the tree
God
of
damn
life,
it, Paul.
it's the bottom Sephiroth.
Hey, dumbass.
Right.
It's translated to the kingdom. It's like
You're an idiot. You're not listening to anything I'm saying.
whatever reality you want to call yourself.
Piece
It's
of
like
shit. I'm fucking sick
lowest
of you.
emanation.
Can we move on?
That's what you guys are in talking on, You're in Malkuth.
Well, here we go. You caused an avalanche, as always, and this is what
I
happened.
gotta say, Tribe's a bitch on this.
One idiot
pagan
comes
pagan
up,
holiday.
the next idiot comes up, and then the third idiot. One gives birth to two.
Well, listen, I don't yell at people and call people names.
Cage, wouldn't you agree Tribe is a bitch?
No, I don't know. I've never talked to Tribe. I don't know.
Well, for all you guys, Tribe is a bitch.
Dumbass.
Yeah. And I
Look,
think you're
dude,
a
just
bitch
because
for calling.
Tribe won't let you come over anymore doesn't mean he's a
A
bitch. It
lot
just
of
means he's done with
looping
you.
does go on here.
I've never been to Tribes, and Nacho Quifa is trying to be a fake Indian out in India. Fucking
No,
Asian Indian.
now this guy, he
You
comes
dumbass.
off real. It's getting
Fucking
too real.
Nacho
And
Quifa.
You dumbass.
I typed in
It's getting
martial
too
arts
real.
last night
It's
because
getting
I was
too
playing
real.
that
And then
stupid NES Kung Fu game on
God
the
damn it, Paul.
Nacho Quifa shit came in the fucking algorithm.
I wish you
Got
could
black
hear any of
gnome
those.
optics, bro.
All right, dude. The retardation around me is starting to
But,
stink.
yeah, but
Moose
you
is a
allow
running bitch. You see
the
how
shit.
Moose
You allow the
stays in the
shit,
foxhole
Paul.
for you, Daddy? When it gets a
You
little
allow it to
pressure, Moose
happen
runs
and
like a
then
little
blame
tribe
other
bitch.
people.
Moose runs away like a little bitch.
You're allowing the shit to happen, Paul, and then you blame other people for it.
Right.
No,
So
but you're
because I have an open door here and you all can't control yourselves or find something to do with your life and your days, it's my fault.
Oh, I had
it's
something
always
to do.
your
I was
fault.
just telling
It's called
everyone Tribe's a bitch.
self-accountability. I know it's a crazy concept to understand, but yeah,
Okay, so then let me help you out. I'll be insanely accountable right now, and I won't have anyone here who I don't think brings value to the broadcast. So we'll start now. I'll hit the button, and from here on out, you're right. I'll be ultimately self-accountable. I won't even have someone around me who wastes my time, energy, and attention and bores me, has nothing of value to add, and is unfunny. I should have him here more often so he can encourage me to throw him out. That was rather liberating and empowering. Okay. Pentagon says Iranian drone attack hit chemical tanker near India. So we're ramping things up, folks. As of 5 hours ago, Iranian drones apparently bombing tankers near India.
Hey, Daddy.
Iran's Navy showed off its new cruise missiles on Sunday amid growing tensions in the region. This footage from Iranian state television comes a day after the US Department of Defense claimed that a drone launched from Iran had struck a chemical tanker in the Indian Ocean early on Saturday. That was the 7th Iranian attack on commercial shipping since 2021, the Pentagon statement said. There were no casualties as a result of the attack, and a brief fire on board the tanker was extinguished. A spokesperson for the Iranian delegation at the United Nations did not respond to requests for comment. The incident highlights escalating regional tensions and a new risk to shipping lanes. That's in the wake of the October 7th Hamas attack on Israel and Israel's subsequent bombardment of Gaza. Iran on Saturday denied US accusations that it was involved in planning attacks by Yemen's Tehran-aligned Houthi movement on commercial vessels in the Red Sea.
Cage, why are you back? I kicked you from the studio.
I thought it made you feel empowered and stuff, so I figured.
Hey,
All right,
at least
you can go with
Cage
you.
didn't run off like a bitch, dude, and left Daddy alone. I'm just giving Cage little props. He ain't bitch like Moose.
Well,
you
that's
know?
the thing. Moose recognized in that moment, not only was there not value coming from everyone else, but he couldn't bring any value, so he took his leave. I respect that.
Well, he usually doesn't bring value. Hey, did you hear what O'Don did? Well, I'm going to say allegedly, that Daddy taught me. O'Don allegedly in the politics did to Denver. Did you hear what happened with Denver last night?
Are you talking about?
About 18 buses of immigrants out there. They got the new zone now, just like Arizona. The homeless, so about 4,000, 6,000 immigrants.
Well, I
or
got
more
the
last
breaking
night.
slave news where they were packing them on the tarmac in like luggage under the plane. They were laying them down like this, putting them on planes.
So now Denver last night got hit with like about 8 buses full, and so like their homeless encampment is like fucking fucked. And it's
Yeah, my
like,
buddy's still there. He goes, that the guy Dave I talk about. He goes, it's great here. What do you mean? I go, I'd never go back there. I go, you're out of your mind. I go, number one, Tommy lives there. That's all you need to hear and know, right? To know where you're at. So yeah, I mean, they just don't get it. That's the only reason I went to Arizona again, is because reefer's not criminalized. You could buy and sell guns like you could buy and sell lawnmowers, and that tells me that that's a less unslaved or less enslaved place to be. Right? Denver, while they have reefer every 5 steps, you have to supposedly follow statute, policy, and code on the public ledger to acquire certain pieces of property. So once they tell you that on whatever state you're at, it's done. It's over. Move on. And then they'll tell me, oh, I thought you're Paul enslaved. Yeah, and I'm not going to make it easy for them to put me in federal prison. So you want to buy and sell guns without following the public policy and code, they're probably going to fuck with you. And, the same people tell me that. I go, I might be able to do that and move the court. I don't think you can do it. So you better put yourself on a place with a lifestyle and, if possible, some statute, policy, and code that backs the law of the land. If not, you're already waiting to be put into a camp, right, in the form of a prison. Now, with that said, it wouldn't be that way if 90% of your fellow Americans didn't follow this shit, because you saw what happened with not the bump stocks, but the pistol grip.
The grips.
Yeah, they're not the grips though; they're the stocks, right?
It was a stock. Yeah, it was a stocks actually. I thought.
Yeah, they would say that these what looked to be assault rifles were actually cut short because they're considered pistols, and when you put this piece of plastic on the back, it was considered a felony, right? Nobody followed it, so they're not enforcing it now, and that's how the game goes. If people would have followed it, they'll enforce it. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, we have boots on the ground out in Colorado, so to speak. Tommy never believes it, but we do. That's where my old stomping ground. But the fact is the media's lying about the number of buses. My friend was out there when it was going down. He said literally an hour, a bus full came, 20 minutes, another bus pulled up. And so obviously someone's tactically, since I guess Colorado, the ballot, they're being tactically moved around. I sent you a video, just some mainstream media shit, but I thought old Don giving Colorado some Christmas gifts. I thought that was some funny shit.
So what's the upshot, Snafu Snaps? What's the long game here? Why the bringing in of the migrants?
Well, I think it's because there's another thing I should show you. I think it was Chicago, for the first time ever yesterday, their immigrants, non-citizen immigrants, passed the police academy. The first set of them. So no, what's going to happen is that if we go into a martial law of sorts, our military boys, our police law enforcement people, probably for the most part would not turn on citizens, whether they had orders or not. That is why we're witnessing the United Nations bring in this whole setup. That's why they keep saying military-aged men.
That's why they brought in Chicom Boshene. They're trying to introduce everybody into this collectivization campaign. Yep. They know that many Americans aren't going to go for it. Many Americans will, because they're traitorous, two-faced, red.
That's the thing. A lot of them will. Especially for food and medicine and things to that nature, for safety, as you talked.
Perhaps you saw the last 3 years. They already did it. They showed you that your friends and family and everyone's pretty much all in if they need to be with the system and the experts and frontliners. They're all right there.
Yep. And anyway, Chicago did the first academy group of non-citizen immigrants to join the police forces. Now, what they're doing is they're also I think it was a tactical play, like when they left all of those immigrants at Martha's Vineyard, so to speak. They're like, fuck you, Colorado, you want to play games? Fuck you,
Bro, and then you imagine like an illegal immigrant from Mexico shows up at Martha's Vineyard and then they were complaining. I go, if you're industrious and entrepreneurial, that's a good place to get dropped off at. You could sell some oranges around there. Martha's Vineyard. It's funny. Snafu gets all I don't know if we played that here, if he got the broadcast, the breaking news, rather.
I put it in your backstage.
No, I watched it. I saw it. I saw that it said a bus of illegal migrants got dropped off at Martha's Vineyard. They were walking up and down, and I'm pretty sure Martha's Vineyard is a very high class area financially. So, Yeah, I mean, get in where you fit in. I'm sure Martha's Vineyard could use some illegal migrant workers.
Now Tommy should have content. He could go down to the homeless camps out there with all the migrants, and Tommy could give us.
What do you mean go down there? He's living in a homeless encampment.
Well, he's living in it. Yeah, true. Well, he has to go down the stairs or something in his little.
All right. Well, I guess we'll Paul, ask Rob G. He will tell you what is the uptake. He's been a regular chatter at Monograph. I don't care. I don't care. I'm not going to police online folks who are in chat boxes and on panels, right? We already did enough of that in our own way, and I'm not going to even continue it. If they want to be seen all over and talking with whoever, then they have to bear that responsibility and accountability. I'm nobody's daddy. While I do get the award for being world's best online daddy, I'm not actually anyone's daddy.
Hey, Daddy.
I know that comes as a shock and a blow to people's ego.
Daddy.
Go ahead.
I left another one. I left the migrants in Chicago thing in your backstage for you to check out too.
All right. Well, you're not going to let me out of this. So.
Well, no. I wanted you to watch it, whether you show everyone or not. But
I watched it. I saw it the other day.
No, this new one.
Yeah, we all get the same reports. We're all on the same network.
No, I know that. The other one was the Twitter feed of the guy about the Chicago non-citizens graduating the academy.
Oh, well, no, I got the one where they're all at O'Hare Airport, where they're packing them in on the tarmac. they're out there at camera showing a line of migrants just getting packed into a plane, getting sent somewhere. But yeah, this is the downfall of an empire. What'd you expect? It's going to take the form of a lot of news stories and propaganda put forth, and different experiences that we're going to live through, apparently. All right, I don't care about the Israeli airstrike kills Hamas chief. Red Sea attack. U.S. accuses Iran of aiding Houthi pirates.
Up at Stone Washington has now released some declassified intelligence where it is now accusing Iran of being involved in some ways in attacks on commercial ships by Yemen's Houthi rebels in the Red Sea. Now, the Americans are reportedly considering some tougher measures, including possible use of force to counter these attacks. Iran has denied any involvement, and it has said that it is.
I frankly think that crisis initiation is really tough
in response to the Israeli campaign of
it's very hard for me to see how the United States.
Now, the United States last week announced a naval coalition involving about
which leads me to conclude that if, in fact, compromise is not coming, that the traditional way of America gets to war is what would be best for U.S. interests. Some people might think that Mr. Roosevelt wanted to get us into World War II, as David mentioned. You may recall we had to wait for Pearl Harbor. Some people might think Mr. Wilson wanted to get us into World War I. You may recall he had to wait for the Lusitania episode. Some people might think that Mr. Johnson wanted to send troops to Vietnam. You may recall we had to wait for the Gulf of Tonkin episode. We didn't go to war with Spain until the until the Maine exploded. And may I point out that Mr. Lincoln did not feel he could call out the Federal Army until Fort Sumter was attacked, which is why he ordered the commander at Fort Sumter to do exactly that thing which the South Carolinians had said would cause an attack. So if, in fact, the Iranians aren't going to compromise, it would be best if somebody else started the war. One can combine other means of pressure with sanctions. I mentioned that explosion on August 17th. We could step up the pressure. I mean, look, people, Iranian submarines periodically go down. Someday one of them might not come up. Who would know why? We can do a variety of things if we wish to increase the pressure. I'm not advocating that, but I'm just suggesting that this is not a either-or proposition. It's just sanctions has to succeed or other things. We are in the game of using covert means against the Iranians. We could get nastier with that.
The White House has said that the Houthis are also reliant on Iranian-provided monitoring systems at the sea. Now, the Houthis are categorical, stating that only those ships that are trading with Israel are the ones that it is targeting. The Biden administration officials are extremely concerned that the Houthis are in fact trying to undermine global maritime trade. both to undercut trade to Israel and also to raise the cost for the United States and its allies who are supporting Israel. The Yemeni insurgents persist with the ship strikes they say are in solidarity with the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip and against the campaign of relentless bombings by the Israelis on the Palestinians in Gaza. The Houthis have also warned that they would strike U.S. warships if the Iranian-backed militia is targeted by Washington. This comes as thousands of protesters have rallied in Yemen's capital, Sana'a, in solidarity with the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. The protest was organized by the Iran-backed Houthis, and this is the scale of the protests against the American intervention and also the American support of what Israel is doing and against Israel's campaign of bombing the Palestinians.
Here we go, people. You thought they were going to do peace talks. You thought it was going to be over. Now, I told you what's going to happen. They're going to, some folks might say, like Clausen does, they're going to attack themselves, say the other side did it, and they're going to go to war for expansionism, and they're not going to cease on both sides because now some might say you have third-party mercenaries who've been hired to make the attacks because, again, we're in the game, as Clausen says, of covert means against the Iranians. So how do you get to war with Iran? Well, you just hire a bunch of pirate scum to attack certain locations, and we're off and running. It's that simple. They've been doing it forever. Go ahead, Snafu Creature.
Oh, and I just got one more breaking news on these beta boys. Your influence is very powerful, but also your guest is very powerful. These beta boys tend to take the optics and they switch to narratives on accident. So I got some footage here that I'm going to send you of Nacho Quifa. He must have been watching your show and watching you and Verily do it up because Nacho Quifa is stealing content now from Paul Enslaved and Verily. And this is how I guess, obviously your influence is powerful, sir. They're watching you. They saw the Verily shit. And
Snafu Snaps, I appreciate the reporting, but we know that I have a powerful presence and influence.
Right.
We know that.
So I just sent it to you. So you know they're copying your guys' work and watching you guys. They're watching you intently.
Fucking Snafu.
See? They're already ready for Barry to capture.
Is Nacho Quifa kick your ass with all that fucking limber shit he's up to?
He watched you and Verily when she was doing her little swing shit and he got jealous. This is what they do.
Oh, so you're saying he's trying to show off a little bit? It's oddly.
Well, he's trying to show his booty hole pretty good right there.
Oddly peaceful.
You know, hanging and swinging and don't even got a thrust action. He swings, you know?
So you're saying you think he's a bottom?
He could be. After watching that, all I know is you're powerful, you're influenceable. UNSLAVED, they're watching. They're watching, sir.
Well, that's pretty clear and concise, conclusive proof.
God of all media.
Right. All right. Well, if Nacho Quifa, as you say, wants to swing around and hang upside down and show his booty hole, I'm not going to stop
That's how
him.
you prepare for the New World Order. That's how we prepare.
Well, we all have our own ways of preparing. Don, Teflon Don, who apparently everything sticks with, apparently was recorded. Donnie Trump pressuring Michigan election canvassers. He's at it again. They're going to get him on this now.
Former President Donald Trump was reportedly recorded pressuring canvassers in Michigan not to certify the 2020 election results. The Detroit News obtained recordings of a November 2020 phone call with then-President Trump and two Republican canvassers in Wayne County. He told them, quote, "We can't let these people take our country away from us." Republican National Committee Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel was also on that call. CBS News campaign reporter Katrina Kaufman joins us now. Katrina, you're also an attorney, and there are questions about whether these recordings could bring additional legal jeopardy to the former president. I want to note, though, that the Trump campaign said in a statement, quote, all of President Trump's actions were taken in furtherance of his duty as president of the United States to faithfully take care of the laws and ensure election integrity. Katrina, is that a strong defense to what's in these recordings?
To me, it's really not. The president doesn't have a role in overseeing the election. That's really something that the state is supposed to do. So it just really doesn't seem like a credible defense for Trump here. And it could also be argued that he might have violated bribery laws in Michigan. He offered legal attorneys to these canvassers, and that could violate the Michigan bribery law. So he could be in legal trouble in Michigan. And then also this could be very important evidence for Jack Smith and his federal election interference
That's
case.
what I wanted to ask you about, because Jack Smith continues to work on that federal election case, the special counsel. What impact, how will this play into Smith's narrative?
It's an important question. I mean, I think this could be really powerful evidence of intent, because with these criminal charges, you have to prove both that he intended to commit the act, that there was mens rea there, and that he did commit the act. So really, this could play into Jack Smith's case in a very important way. I mean, you could draw a parallel to Nixon. In that case, the tapes of Nixon were a smoking gun.
Does this feel like a smoking gun, these words? We can't let them take the country away from us. Don't certify the results. We'll pay for attorneys. We'll get you attorneys.
I mean,
Is that enough?
I don't know if I want to say it's the smoking gun, but for a prosecutor to have someone's own words on tape, Trump can't say that he didn't say this. You know, we have him on tape saying this. So it's definitely very important evidence for this case. And just part of a larger picture. I mean, we have the Raffensperger call. We have pressure on Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss. And so it presents a larger picture of all the forces that were at play here.
Those in Georgia, this one in Michigan. Katrina, before I let you go, real quick, there's another Trump legal matter that is making headlines today, and that is about the upcoming defamation trial involving E. Jean Carroll. The Trump campaign, or the Trump team, rather, legal team, is trying to delay that. Why are they trying to do that?
Well, I mean, this is just a larger strategy for Trump. In general, he's trying to delay everything. But in this case specifically, they want a 90-day stay on the trial, which is currently supposed to start on January 16th. And they're saying it so they can explore other legal avenues. They may, they're saying, even appeal to the Supreme Court with a presidential immunity claim, which, you know, is already happening with Jack Smith's case.
I was going to say, that's already, the highest court is being asked a lot.
I mean, and they're also, it's very ironic because, you know, they don't want it to go to the Supreme Court as quickly, but in this filing, it's almost funny because he uses Jack Smith's own words to argue about the importance.
All right, Snafu Snaps, they're all over Don. He did it again. He's committing more crimes, trying to bribe people, still focused. He can't let go. 2020, can't let it go. You know? Just can't let Joey B be our rightful president. He's a hater. So, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's only going to ramp up. I put 2 more links in there for you watch them personally or whatever. One is, ladies and gentlemen, we got people killing people in broad daylight in the streets over fucking snow and fucking just dumb shit. And now more news coming in. The migrants are a new law has been passed in certain states where they can purchase bang bangs now. So, you know,
I support that.
Yeah, they got to shoot back, right?
Yeah. I support all illegal migrants being given weapons and all citizen slaves being taken their rights and privileges.
Dude, if we could make a bunch of those booty hole swing things that Nacho Cuifa had, we could hang Moose and Nacho Cuifa and Tribe up there and just sit and wait.
Right.
Like the Walking Dead tactics, you know?
Bait them, like put out some bait?
Yes, Daddy. See, Snafu is... See, guys? You guys want to talk shit about old Snafu, but Snafu be protecting you in the land using Nacho Cuifa and Moose as bait. All you fucktards will be saved by me.
And Tribe's big square head.
Yeah.
Philippines boosts maritime security amid tensions with Beijing. So everybody's going to war.
Japan has formally handed over an air surveillance radar system to the Philippines. It is the first export of a complete made in Japan defense product since the arms trade ban on it was eased in the year 2014. Now, the radar system will strengthen defense capabilities of the Philippines amid China's growing aggressiveness in the South China Sea. Now, the radar will be part of the armed forces of the Philippines modernization program. The Philippines signed the deal in 2020. For Japan, it marks the first deployment of its defense equipment in a foreign country. Japan's Mitsubishi Electric built the air radar system on a former US airbase, some 300 kilometers from the disputed Scarborough Shoal. Now, looking out on the South China Sea, locally known as the West Philippine Sea. Scarborough Shoal has been disputed both by Philippines and Japan. Earlier, Beijing shot water cannons and rammed Manila's vessels as they carried out a resupply mission. The incidents prompted Philippines to urge China to exercise restraint to maintain regional stability. During a call with the Philippines Foreign Minister Enrique A. Manalo, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi had warned that China will take action if the Philippines misjudges the situation in the South China Sea.
中非关系已站在十字路口，面临何去何从的选择，非方务必要慎重行事。希望非方理智抉择，遵循邻里相处的有效之道，和中方一道妥善处理和管控好当前海上局势。
Did you get that? Did you get that, Snafu? Did you? I need you to translate that when you get a chance.
Yeah,
Snafu, also my foreign translator.
Baba da da ba da, something like that.
Blah 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 da da da.
Yeah.
Border crisis. Texas flies migrants to Chicago on private plane. See, I told you I had it up here. So they get one-way tickets.
Hey, did you see that one where the guy just blasted that chick over snow in their in a public suburbia?
No, what are you talking about?
I put it in your backstage. You're always showing the cops blasting citizens. What about citizens blasting citizens?
What, the X.com?
Yeah, it's the snow. Yeah, it's where it was last year during the winter. Yeah, that one, the snow where basically they're shoveling snow, in front of a suburban area, but as you can tell, they get blasted. This is America, ladies and gentlemen. These are Americans, not migrants.
You're a pussy.
Sounds like Wizard.
I'll make my own stamps if I want.
Oh. Call the cops! Call the cops!
Yikes.
He come back out and said, "You should have shut your mouth."
That wasn't very Piz this season-esque, sir.
Are you okay? What happened? What happened? Call 911. What happened? Go get my phone. What happened? No. Are you okay? You should have kept your fucking. Pussy, huh?
And people are worried about the immigrants, right?
That guy's getting cold.
Happy pagan days.
Well, there you go. He says, Snafu, this is old as fuck.
Yeah, it is. It's just to point out the fact of everyone's talking about immigrants with guns and giving them the fact is when shit hits the fan here in the mainland, you will see fucking Nacho Quifas hung up and mooses hung up for baited fucking people like me because we fucking know that the cupcaking is not going to work. That's
the bottom
proof.
line is that they weren't cupcaking. That guy was running his mouth and calling people names and talking shit. And then it got real. And I'm not supporting what he did, obviously,
I mean,
but that's
the
why.
point.
Yeah, but that's why I stay the fuck away from these slaves, online or offline, and I don't get into it with them because that's how it goes. Now, am I going to catch shit for that? I know that was from Twitter. Am I going to catch shit from that over here? I mean, we watch videos.
I don't
like
think
that.
so. I played it on mine a few times, many times, never got hit. So
okay.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's old, so that's why I played it because it has been surfacing.
Listen, part of the problem is, and I speak on it here,
Americans are
your mouth and your feet are your best weapons because you can stay the fuck out of things instead of get yourself deeper in. So I advise everyone out there, beta boys and beta girls, be on your best behavior and don't go to popping shit unless you're ready to go all the way because that might come forth. You know, you don't get to control what happens. So, you know, a lot of these women out here, they think they're going to run their mouth and that they're going to be safe because they're one call away, 911, whatever it is. Well, good luck if you're in a situation if a guy does that. So you conduct yourself accordingly. You be respectful. If you have a grievance, you address it. If somebody's not, adhering to proper logic, morals, and ethics, then you handle it a different way, but you don't go to inciting people and triggering people and talking shit because they just might give you what you're asking for.
Well, and let's just be honest, Paul. Okay. And I'm just being real talk for a minute, like without the joking around, blah, blah. That was
Didn't he say? And again, I don't support that, but he did say you should have shut your fucking mouth.
Yep.
And this is what I tell these folks on here all the time. Am I supporting that behavior? Absolutely not. I think that it's
but does it happen?
Vile animal-like behavior, but it happens all day, every day because people want to run their mouth and they want to act out and they want to, think that there's going to be no consequences to their actions and what they say, and this is
also
the real world.
Let's just add to that. Americans are Hollywooded up. They're ritualistic up. That we are armed to the teeth, and so to speak. So, that was over snow during times of, quote, peace, right, ladies and gentlemen? So, again, some of these people, some of these women, some of these beta men in here that have never been to a jail, never stepped in foot with a, resistance, so to speak, of life and death situations, y'all better wake up, man, because political transition is happening here in the mainland, and none of it we can control. But
what was so strange about that, and I'm not going to watch it again, but what was so strange about it, it appeared that the couple talking shit, when he drew down on them, they just sat there and got shot. Like that dude didn't even react till he had already got shot a handful of times. It was almost as if he couldn't believe that it even happened.
Yeah, the minute I saw a gun, dude, I would have been fucking running like a motherfucker, like gone.
Well, that's the thing. You would think somebody popping all that shit and throwing middle fingers would be armed, and they'd be expecting that. He not only wasn't expecting it, he didn't seem he was armed, and the guy drew down on him, is walking toward him, and he's just sitting there. Let him walk right up on him and shoot at him 4 or 5 times before he even realized he was hit and started running. So these are folks who not only pop shit, they got little to no situational awareness, and they're not strategic. It's fascinating, and this is why, again,
like if you
I
look
stay
at a
the
bigger
fuck
picture,
away from cities and suburbs for exactly this reason, because half of them are popping shit and they got no stratagem or situational awareness. The other half are in a depression, quietly desperate, and they're just waiting to do some shit like that guy. That guy was. It doesn't matter if it's over the holiday season. You don't know what anybody's going through. So if that guy's sitting in his house and he's been going through it for years with his family, and he hasn't reconciled, he's just waiting for somebody to call his bluff, right? Because he's got nothing left to live for. So this shit goes on all day, every day. And that's why you got to be honest with yourself and others. And that's why I say I may pop shit on here at times, And I tell folks we can meet, but ultimately, I ain't looking for that because there's no telling what anybody else might do, and I'm not going to give up my life for somebody else's to play egoic games. You know, I'd rather live in peace and let them, you know, do whatever they're going to do.
It was old footage, and because of the whole migrant gun thing and everyone talking, and we are getting very close to, I guess, the old Wild West days, so to speak, I guess, if you want to say, you know. But the fact is, Paul, you just nailed it on the head. That's why people are out of the cities and the suburbs, you know, this, that. But it kind of reminded me of the footage you've been playing of the, you know, cops and stuff. And I just want to remind people it's citizens too. We got to worry about people, whether migrants or not, you know.
You don't have to worry about anything. You just have to be prepared and be smart, right? And have situational awareness. I don't go anywhere without having adequate defense on me. I don't go anywhere without being situationally aware and looking at who's around me. You know, if I'm not checking out the feminine creatures, I'm looking around at these men to see what are they looking like, what are they doing, where are they going, what are they reaching for, you know. So it's not about living in fear. It's just about you learn after a certain point, especially coming up certain places. You got to have your eyes open and you got to kind of have your head on a swivel, you know. So every time I walk into a store or anywhere else, it goes through my mind. If it's not in the back of my mind, you may have to use your sidearm today because you don't know when a slave is going to act out, especially during these holiday seasons. They got no money, they got no family, they're on drugs, and they got nothing to live for. You may have to defend yourself or everyone else in that store's life, and that's the reality of it. You can't be a man and not have that in the back of your mind, you know, because then if it goes to happen, you're going to have a bunch of victims on your hands, you know.
You know, if I may, I'm not pushing fear, you fucktards in chat. I'm pushing realism. Your
pushing
motherfucking ass be sitting in the snow bleeding out. And I hope you remember, Snafu is pushing fear as I'm bleeding out because I'm a dumbass. And fucking, so when you guys end up bleeding out or end up in the sex Nacho Quifa swings, being used as bait, and all kinds of dumb shit happens, just remember all Snafu. Oh, no, I wasn't pushing fear. I was being a fisherman telling you guys you better fucking get ready for reality.
You know what's crazy too?
Hit the mainland.
You know what's crazy too is I'm pretty sure that woman took at least a couple handgun shots to the head and a rifle round, and she was still running her mouth. If that's not a testament to how much women can run their mouth and their feelers, like the guy took a couple bullets and he was off in the corner gagging and you know, just kind of groaning and moaning. She was still running her fucking mouth after a couple handgun shots to the head and a fucking rifle round. I couldn't believe it. And that's also a testament to the fact that on some level, women are harder to kill, it seems. You know, I don't know how that works. Maybe it's one of God's, you know, sick jokes.
He didn't finish her off with a shovel.
Well, now we know why Wizard's last marriage didn't go well.
The guy sounded like you for a minute, Wizard. I ain't gonna lie. When he was
yelling. Wizard's gonna come running out one day and give the name.
He wasn't trained in shovel warfare though.
He didn't have his fake stamps on standby either. But no, all you fucktards that want to say fear, I'm pushing fear. I hope when fear is fucking shown to you because it's reality, it's a reality situational experience. You motherfuckers don't think I was pushing fear. I'm warning you, cupcakes. You better get ready because it's not gonna be.
Like, I'm not pushing fear. I'm just telling you to. I'm just telling you to be fearful and get ready. I'm not pushing fear.
Makes sense.
I mean, at the end of the day, right? From the beginning, did he just leave? At the end of the day, from the beginning of the civilization, everybody was armed. Everybody carried themselves a certain way. And if you got uppity, you're out of line, you got dealt with. So we don't have to be fearful or get ready in order to live with some level of common sense and common ethic, you know? And again, at the end of the day, I'll walk away or move on and get my pride and ego hurt before I choose to get into it with a full-grown slave. It's just not worth it to me, you know? So, you know, not every battle has to be fought, right? But yeah, I mean, it takes quite a bit to get me stirred up, and you know that was a hell of a clip when it comes to brutality. But again, nothing surprises me with these angry, hateful, desperate slaves out here. All right. Let's move forward. Snafu Creature has scurried off, apparently, or he's dealing with doxing issues for putting out too much Truthio. Truthio overload. All right, let's go to the border crisis, as it's called. Texas is now flying migrants to Chicago on private planes.
Our coverage now of the migrant crisis at the southern border and in cities all across the country. Another plane of migrants from Texas just landed.
God damn it, Joe.
Meanwhile, a 5-year-old migrant died this week in one of the city's largest migrant shelters as the city struggles with how to handle the influx. Joining us right now from Chicago is Fox 32's Casey Cronus. Casey.
Hey, Lexi. Well, this afternoon, there have been a lot of developments here in Chicago. The biggest one being that Mayor Johnson's office confirmed to us that for the first time, Texas officials chartered a private plane, sending about 100 migrants from El Paso, Texas to O'Hare last night. That plane arrived around 7:15 p.m. yesterday. Take a look at this video. It's from our sister station in Dallas. It shows those migrants boarding that private plane in El Paso that soon took off and came to O'Hare. Now, the move came at the direction of Texas Governor Greg Abbott. His office tells our sister station in Dallas that, quote, because Mayor Johnson is failing to live up to his city's welcoming city ordinance by targeting migrant buses from Texas, we are expanding our operation to include flights to Chicago.
They're like, you're supposed to have an ordinance that says you're supposed to be welcoming. So we're going to put migrants on private planes and fly them around to other cities. You can't violate that. I love it. I love your political system that tears everybody apart, both sides from the middle. It's fascinating to observe.
This comes after the mayor announced Monday that he would be implementing harsher penalties for bus drivers who do not follow proper guidelines when arriving in Chicago. On Monday, Mayor Johnson blasted Governor Abbott for his handling of the situation.
Blasted him.
They're just dropping all people anywhere. Do you understand how raggedy and how evil that is? You're just gonna put people on a bus and just take them somewhere and drop them off?
I don't think I've ever heard a politician use the term raggedy. So we're making progress here. M. Davis likes that. Y'all know how raggedy that shit is? This is why I support all politicians being black at this point. Like, I mean, the white people have clearly fucked everything up. And if nothing else, it could at least get entertaining. I mean, black folks are entertaining. There's no denying it. You know, you're like, y'all know how ghetto that shit is. They're like, this is why I love black people, because they can't help but to keep it real, even in front of all the press. They just take the press and the people aside. Hey, this shit is kind of raggedy. I don't really even like being associated with this type of shit. You're not player, right? You're not keeping it pimping. Yeah, this is great. I can't wait for the next like 5 to 10 years of politics. It's gonna be a hell of a time.
In the middle of the night, and then you want to hold us accountable for something that's happened down at the border? It's sickening.
The mayor's spokesperson says their office is working to find shelter space for all 296 migrants currently staying at O'Hare. Meanwhile, tonight, in just a couple hours, the Pilsen community will come together to remember 5-year-old Jean Carlos Martinez Rivero. He was living at the shelter on Halstead when officials say he suffered a medical emergency Sunday. He was rushed to the Children's Hospital here in Chicago, but died there. Now, his autopsy is still pending, but we have learned that others at that shelter were taken to the hospital Monday with high fevers. City officials say those cases are not related to the little boy's death, but the entire situation has sparked concern and raised questions over whether the migrants living at these shelters are getting enough access to health care.
Yeah, so tragic and very concerning, to say the least. And Casey, we've seen buses send shuttles of migrants to the city before, but is this the first time that we're seeing a plane carrying migrants and having them be dropped off so casually?
You know, we know that there have been planes before, but we've heard that those are being paid for by organizations and nonprofits. The city confirms to us that this is the first time Texas Governor Greg Abbott has chartered a private plane, sending more than 100 migrants here to Chicago.
And Casey, obviously this crisis is still being something that everybody is trying to work around and figure out a solution for. But as we're seeing here, it's really intensifying by the day. And that being said, Texas Governor Greg Abbott, it seems that he's obviously put a lot of focus on the city of Chicago. So what is the big plan moving forward? What do those conversations look like amongst community members? Because there's been just so much.
All right, I'm moving on. It's always a bunch of nonsense. Let's get into let me see what I got here first.
You can tell those ladies know the struggle in Chicago life just by looking at them, you know.
Right. Western military forces unite against Houthi Red Sea attacks. IDF is pursuing Hamas in southern Gaza. So more of the same. Florida man dead after trying to rob guy with fake gun. I guess we can go to that. Apparently top news, Fox Noise.
Man is facing murder charges after deputies say a pre-planned robbery turned deadly. That shooting happened overnight at Tropicana Resort Motel on Highway 27 in Davenport. Fox 13's Carla Byron explains how the shooting may have also been in self-defense. Polk County Sheriff Grady Judge says this was a pre-planned robbery by a drug dealer and his friend, and one of them ended up dead. This is surveillance video of the parking lot at Tropicana Resort Motel on Highway 27 in Davenport. Deputies say 44-year-old Christian McDonald was trying to buy marijuana from 31-year-old Robert Pimentel Cruzetta. Then Cruzetta's friend, 33-year-old Harold Sepulveda Cruz, entered the truck and threatened McDonald with a fake gun. McDonald, who had a real gun, then shot and killed Cruz, claiming self-defense.
No!
Harold Cruz.
Don't bring a fake gun to a real gunfight.
As the
got to bring a shovel at least.
High on drugs that night and needing to hit a lick for a quick fix. If his buddy had just loaned him $100, he'd still be alive today. So while Robert had $900 in his pocket, he sat there while Harold got shot over $140 and an eighth of an ounce of marijuana.
McDonald hasn't been charged as the shooting remains.
All I got from that is he encouraged somebody to give him money and enable him. If you just loaned him some money, this never would have happened.
Charges. Cruzetta is in the Polk County Jail on no bond. Reporting in Polk County, Carla Byron, Fox 13 News.
Thank you, Carla. Carla on the ground looking lovely today. As always. 14 killed mass shooting. Czech Republic. Prague, I believe. I'm sure you folks have heard if you haven't heard. Worst mass shooting in history, they're saying. They say that every time. Kind of like they go, worst broadcast ever. Snafu Snaps was here and others. They say that every time. All right, let's go to the mass shooting. It's global at this point, worldwide. Something must be done about these guns. And the man from Finland yesterday agreed. He said, why don't you damn Americans give up all your guns so we can be safe?
And we begin with that deadly mass shooting just days before Christmas. A gunman killing at least 14 people, injuring 24 others at a university in the heart of Prague, the Czech Republic, an area well known to tourists near a popular and crowded Christmas market. Police flooding the scene at Charles University, one of the oldest universities in the world. One eyewitness describing the chaos, hearing shots and police sirens. Then everyone started running. Police arriving within minutes, racing towards.
We thought it was fireworks.
Drawn. Students trapped inside the building, some climbing out the window, perching on a ledge. Video showing the alleged gunman pacing the roof, shooting down, firing what appears to be a rifle at random. Ambulances rushing the injured to nearby hospitals. Tonight, authorities ruling out terrorism as a possible motive and say the gunman was a 24-year-old student found dead on the sidewalk. ABC's Tom Sufi-Burridge leads us off from the scene in Prague.
Tonight, a mid-afternoon massacre in Prague. Deadliest mass shooting here in modern history. A gunman firing down at one of the city's most iconic squares, near the famous Christmas markets packed with tourists. At least 14 people shot dead, according to Czech officials. Around 24 injured. At 3 p.m. local time, police saying a 24-year-old student arrived at Charles University after killing his father outside the city. This video allegedly showing the gunman pacing the roof, firing what appears to be a rifle at random. Students trapped inside the Faculty of Arts building, some climbing out the window, even perching on the side of a building to avoid the gunfire.
If only a citizen slave had a gun.
Minutes, terrified students evacuating with their hands up. Scores of people sprinting across a bridge to safety. Ivo Havranek was inside when he heard gunshots.
There was a couple of bangs. I didn't even realize it's a shooting. Then suddenly there were students and teachers running out of the building.
At 3:20, 20 minutes after the first reports of gunfire, the killer was found dead on a sidewalk. And while officials say they have ruled out terrorism as a motive, police tonight combing the university building for possible explosives, saying the suspect owned several firearms legally. Authorities discovering a large number of weapons and ammunition in the faculty building.
We got to stop that.
It appears this tragedy could have been much worse.
Tom Sufi Burridge on the scene for us tonight. And Tom, what more are we learning about the gunman?
Yeah, that building there is the arts faculty, a scene of horror earlier. Officials here calling this rare mass shooting unprecedented and insane, saying the gunman was inspired by a similar shooting abroad. His motive tonight, unclear. Whit?
All right, Tom, with those late developments today, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George.
Yeah, Stephanopoulos with the sign off. Your thoughts, Wizard Creature? I've noticed that you've appeared.
Well, some of these newscasters are just amazing. It's like the headline, the worst mass shooting in modern history here. So it makes it sound like it's the worst worst mass shooting in history, but they're relating it to here. And then at the end, he talks about his intent or his actions were motivated by a previous event of similarity somewhere else, but they don't know his intent. And then in that interview, they said something about they didn't know if it was a terrorist act or not. But psychologically, if he killed his father outside the city limits, that tells you it's a family issue, not a terrorist act. So it was a mental issue that he went through, and he just went off. It wasn't a terrorist act as they tried to fearmonger and stuff. That's not part of it.
To answer the person's question down there, why I would watch fake news, because part of YouTube's policy is that you can't conjecture and you can't do conspiracy theory and you can't truth. But you can comment on other people's videos and you can talk about what some folks might say. So not only does it give me a structure and something to go to regularly and report the current events and the state of beingness and comment on that from the space of conscious awareness, it allows me to not be subject to a misinterpretation of policy, right? So
we get to go through the language of these things and tear them down for what they really are. It's fear mongering. They're placing those kind of words into their stories to fear monger you, to help you believe that it's part of your life when it's not. You're not the one that's mentally disturbed and then reporting the mental disturbance in a mentally disturbed way to affect others in a mental disturbance.
Bruh. Somebody got confused there in the back. Wizard dropping bombs on them. Confusion bombs. There is no U.S. government. There you go. I'm pretty sure there is. It's just that it's a corporate body. Okay, if you want to come on up, folks, if you got anything you want to address, it's open panel, limited direction, as always. If not, we'll move it right on along. We did the Philippines. We did the border crisis. Israeli American murdered by Hamas. We got more of that propaganda floating around.
Jack finally showed up to his Christmas party.
Oh, Jack Talcott's down there. Okay. Yay, Jack Talcott. The folks were looking for you. They say it's just not, really a Talcott Christmas without the man himself. the second portion of that.
I caught that, and I've been trying to join for a while. But blessings to you, Paul. Blessings.
Now, you forgive me for showing up at your chat yesterday and calling you insane again because you had the balls to sit around and go, they're going to take my house any one of these days coming soon, and I just don't know what to do. And I go, hello, there's a whole other group of population out here who seems to know what to do in that scenario, right? And that's the only reason I do that, just to keep you focused. It's not for a lack of love and care for you, right?
I know. You've been frustrating for me, though, because I want to honor your wishes, and I don't always know what you wish, what you really want. But I broke what I understood, and I said, you know what? It's the season. It's the holidays.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if I'm going to use your likeness, it's only right that you show up and regale the people.
Right. I appreciate that. And I actually brought something here.
Again, Jack, we have one source of, it's not even contention. We have one source of imagined or real disagreement, which is that you say you don't know what to do. I contend you do know what you need to do. You just won't do it. Right. And that, to me, if I didn't speak on that when I saw it, even if I'm wrong, would be me accepting less for you and be a form of enabling. And I know the contention is many folks have enabled me in what I do. The point is we have different results in certain ways, and I don't feel slighted or at a loss, right? So when it appears to me that you're suffering or that you're losing or going to lose something, I try to, the best I know how, with my experience, which of course is limited, to focus you on potential solutions, you know? And again, would I rather that feel good to you? Yes. But if it feels bad, I can only do what I know how to do, right? Other than love unconditionally with a conditional trust and respect, dependent upon an understanding, right? If that makes sense.
I think it does.
Well, well, there you go. Not quite matching Christmas sweaters, but
No.
Close enough, right?
Close enough, man.
Matching hat.
Just having some fun, man. Yeah, no, Paul, I know what you're saying. I know it's true. Yeah, let me do that. I'm stubborn and hard-headed sometimes, just like you. I know.
Let's remember the reflective aspect of this hologram, right?
There's
Can you review what Mr. Talcott has been up to? I left it in your backstage. We should, especially on today's momentable thing. He's not.
What has he been up to? Well, I'll tell you.
Blowjobs.
Rather, he'll tell you. It's the season. It's cold outside, okay? Nothing will warm you up like a Talcottian blowjob. It's very communal.
Yeah, he didn't even decorate his dungeon, Daddy. Fucking Talcott putting me in the dungeon all the time. He didn't even decorate his dungeon.
Nothing's good enough for you.
Right.
No. Okay, actually,
You're lucky you have a space in the dungeon.
Giggle dance right now, because I saw you so horny. You know, and so give him a little dance, Talcott, real life. Right now, do something with your life. Dance.
I don't dance on order.
Me love you long time. Always ask me why I fuck so much. I say, what's wrong, baby doll? With a quick nut. Because you're the one and you shouldn't be mad. I won't. Tell your mom. Tell your dad. I know he'll be disgusted when he sees your pussy busted.
All right. No, you'll be disgusted when he sees your pussy busted. I think that's where we stop it right there.
Yeah.
It is a family broadcast.
Yeah, Jack, real quick here. Can you give us a quick pussy buster?
Pussy buster. What?
They're always clipping, right?
Just say it. Just say it. We need a clip. We need a good clip. Just say pussy buster.
You know, last night he told me the world's not as gay as I thought it would be.
Right. The world is not as gay as Snafu sees it. He sees the world very, very gay.
Well, maybe Snafu doesn't see himself as gay as he is, right? And that's where all the resistance comes in.
I think there's something there.
Yeah, he's always pursuing other men online.
Yeah, open up to the gayness.
Talk about gay and shit, and then Mitchell and fucking Host State show up together in a dark car. Like,
I heard about that. That is true. So this is what I mean. You guys can't stay away from each other. This is the opposite of like finding community and family that you didn't have. This is like replicating more trauma bonding and dysfunction. You know,
remember, Mitch is met up
City
with.
Hall gives you 3 minutes. Even Jennifer gives me 3 minutes. Okay, and I didn't want to bring my sex life into this. Go ahead, Wizard Teacher.
Well, you notice Mitch is the one that's he's met up with Snafu, Flow State.
No.
Ryan O'Shea.
Yeah, the reality is Mitchell. You know, he's open. He wants it. You know.
Well, Joe Cool did.
A tight little circle there.
The finger bang Joe Cool move, and Mitch was totally showing it off. Paul, like you do. They were glowing together. It was gay talk, and then they showed up on screen. Talcott, you know I'm telling the truth here. You know, don't fucking guru. You tell the truth, Talcott. We're talking gay shit.
Salute.
Hey, you know, we salute the Gay AF Network and their meetups, their late night meetups. Oh, we have some. Hold on a second.
No,
this is a revival. This is a revival, I think.
I was just going to silence it.
No, why would we do that? This is a revival of one of the best bits ever, the Talcott tip line.
Yeah,
so go ahead, lines are open because I don't think
we need all of Unslaved to call. Call them.
No.
We don't want. Don't you want to help people during the times we're in?
Yeah, there could be suicide awareness. Somebody could be watching this broadcast and be contemplating killing themselves. And you have to decide if they should go ahead with it or not.
Do you really think a conversation could help that in a good way?
Well, it's possible. You have a way with words. You know, you have a way about you, Talcott. There's no denying that.
Jack, I do got something I want to request from you. I'd even almost pay to have you do it.
I'm listening.
Did you see Nacho Quifa's workout in a swing?
I don't know. I missed that.
I'm going to send you a swing.
Yeah, he was hanging upside down. Nacho Queta was hanging upside down, and he had his cheeks open.
Kind of like what Verily does in her swing.
It was very... I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it completely.
Do you see the pattern? I'm sorry. Do you see the pattern from Snafu's mind? The world is not as gay as you see it, Snafu. Seriously.
So de-gay it for me. Come on, Snowball.
It's all up to you. It is all up to you, my friend.
No, you're the one who's going to de-gay the world for Snafu. Let's go.
I think it's easier to get rid of Snafu for the world than to de-gay the world for Snafu.
Ooh.
Well, that's some gay tyrant shit.
All right, enough of this jibber jabber. You guys haven't at all tried to help Jack Talcott since he's been here, and I am. So when is our next?
I'll call the United Nations right now, live with everyone.
On Christmas Eve. That's a good idea, isn't it?
You want to do it, Jack? Let's call them together.
They're off today.
On Sunday, Christmas Eve.
I'll get patched in. You don't. I'm Snafu.
You're Snafu. I don't know what the answer is. Where to go? And actually, that's what you were saying, Paul. I say I don't know the answer, yet I do. There's some truth to that as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, I believe that there is more that you could do to generate different results, you know, in different areas.
So
Bitcoin's about to bull run.
So Jack, you told us on Thanksgiving people invited you and you got pissed at them and told them fuck off, basically. So who have you told to fuck off on this Christmas Eve tonight? Just curious. Or did no one reach out to you since you told him fuck off the first time?
Yeah, I've been blessed. I haven't had opportunities to tell people to fuck off for a while. So,
Well, that's good, yeah.
I know. I think it'll help. And
see, this is what your basement, your dungeon should look like, Jack. Do you see what Paul has done with the interior here?
I know.
You're fucking up, dude. You could take some notes from UNSLAVED.
I realize that. I do learn, and I do try to get inspired. I don't try to copy, but I do learn and get inspiration.
No, you just run off and
picture,
copyrighted
Talcott.
rights to things from people that you stole, right? You don't copy, you just get copyrighted rights.
Is Talcott's camera off on you guys' side?
No.
He's above you, teabagging you.
That's strange. It's showing a black square on my end.
Is it?
It's probably it's on me, probably. They can see you. Yeah, somehow or another it goes to picture in picture. But if they could see you, it must be on my end. Fascinating.
That is interesting. There was a topic there, and I lost the topic.
All right, I'm gonna reset. Go ahead and take it away.
Okay. It feels nice to be back with UNSLAVED here on this Christmas Eve.
Says who?
Says me. I'm grateful to be here.
Why do we care what you got to say?
You don't have to, but you get to. You get to care about anything you want. And that's why I'm wondering, Snafu, why do you keep caring about all this gay stuff you find?
Because the optics are high.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. What if the consciousness was high? What would that be like?
Yes, what would it be like?
Yeah, but maybe we should ask Snafu, and just hope that he'll give us that insight into that consciousness, because I think he's the only one here that's really conscious.
Could be. Is this a dream? I mean, this feels like a dream. Here it is, holiday season again. I'm getting to hang out with Paul UNSLAVED. I mean, how fucking cool is that?
I mean, to be fair, anybody can hang out with me 7 days a week. I mean, Snafu's here. Why shouldn't you be here?
It's kind of like God, though. You can hang out with God 7 days a week too, if you would just choose. It doesn't take 1 day a year to remember his son. Just saying.
Brother, that's on a serious note. That is something I've been learning. That you can't trust people. You can and you can't. But if you can make that friendship, that relationship with God, you always got someone you can yell at.
Do you always bring your witchcraft friends when you go meet God and talk to God, like gay Hank? You ask why I talk about gay optics, because you're super mod.
God damn it,
gay.
Paul.
Well, you know the best gift to God is to bring a friend that's a sinner and turn him over to righteousness. So I would believe that would be a better offering, rather than bringing
Wizard. But what do you do when they make excuses?
That are already sainted, rather than bringing saints that are already sainted. And this is why Jesus spoke to the sinners. They're the ones that need to be saved. Don't you get it?
I also notice they try and change narratives to fit their plan. 1 minute we're going to deny God, next minute I'm going to tell you about God. That's Jack Talcott.
What? You're so funny, dude.
Perplexed perceptions. You fellows.
See? He was right. God of all media spoken.
Perplexed perceptions. You fellas are fucked without Paul. I appreciate your long game, Paul. I'd like to rewrite that. You
God of all
Jack, I
media.
swear
Liz.
God of all media.
You fellas are fucked without God. I appreciate your long game, Father.
That's an
Jack,
for
you say
daddy.
you don't dye your fucking hair. Look how black it is versus your beard. Like, you look like Vince McMahon.
But I love you too, Daddy.
Hey, actually, swinging it back to that comment, I do respect Paul in the long game. It's an admirable quality.
Well, we're here
But-
forever, you know. I mean, or at least until we die in this vessel.
So do you
May
accept
as well make the
Paul's-
best of it.
So do you accept when Paul tells you that you're a loser, failure, doing nothing, sitting, fucking
Well,
don't do
he
nothing?
doesn't accept it in that way, but he accepts the sentiment behind it, which is the same sentiment that got me off my ass doing something different, and it worked. So you can only give away what you have. If that doesn't work, then you leave it where you got it.
I'm still waiting for you to do
It
something.
doesn't mean
Talcott.
that I believed anytime I've said that to Jack or others that they're irredeemable. Far from it. Why would I tell somebody who I thought was irredeemable they're a loser and a failure unless I wanted to put myself above them? That's not what it's designed to do.
No, you're
I'm
trying to
trying
put
to
some
awaken
fire
them
under
to
their asses.
possibility and potential and say,
You're trying to
you
put
could
some
do
fire
more,
under
you
their
could be more,
asses.
you could have. Listen, and again, is it probably the best way to do it? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, maybe it doesn't get the results I'm after. You know, it's good for content and entertainment and controversy, but maybe not so much for reconciliation resolution. So,
Talcott, how about we fix this problem starting fucking right after Christmas? You and I call the United Nations together live.
You think that would be successful?
It's more than you've done. You haven't picked up the phone. You haven't called them. You've talked about one-stop wars. You want to Why?
all right,
let's.
it's easy. It's easy to go after.
Excuses for doing something.
It's easy to go after Jack Talcott's grandiose dream, whether it's attainable or not. We're not going to argue over that. What are you doing on the ground to better yourself, your life, and your family's life, and your community's life? Where's your product and service? Where's your bobblehead you were going to put out to grift off this audience and make somewhat of a living for yourself?
Coming.
Yeah, he
This
just
lifetime?
climaxed. See, instead of make the bobblehead, he's masturbating on panel, and that's what I mean. Can't get him to stop playing with his ding ding or dancing on table.
I totally caught myself in what I said. So yeah.
Yeah.
No, I want to, whether it's grandiose or not, Paul, I've talked to Jack about this. I said, like, he's talked about doing meditation streams or this or that or blah, blah. I told Jack to do anything. Get out of the rut of comfortableness. Get out of the rut of the panel.
Again,
type
this
shit.
goes back to what I
something.
found on here. I can only give away what I have or who and what I am. I can't tell him what he has to do, but I've explained to him what I've noticed about me, that you can only have a limited interaction with folks on these panels if there's no overall purpose and meaning and resolution coming out of it. So he's better off, I believe, going deeper into whatever authentically excites him or brings him purpose and meaning or bliss. Even I'll go you one better for all the bliss ninnies. You know, follow your bliss, as the man said. You know, if that means getting these people out of your face because they're not going to understand it, well, fuck them. You know, so if you want to put on some fucking incense and we do an ashram day one day and we put on some music and, you know, keep a certain energy and a certain state of consciousness and practice that, I'm open to it. Have some fun with it, you know, practice with your conscious and awareness and practice with other people and watching how they react and respond to you and whatever you're doing. Right. And then you get to go to the next level in discernment, because if folks are really about the truth, if they're really about something new, if they're really about you and your life and lifestyle, they'll support that. They don't have to agree with it, but they'll go, well, Talcott's on a walk and a journey, just like they will with me. And if they're going to fucking hate on it, I'd rather not even have them in my life, because sometimes I may want to do singing bowls and incense and essential oils and white women in the forest. There ain't nothing wrong with it. You know, far from it. When I came when I came from the concrete jungle, so to speak, out there to the festivals, I started crying because there was so much love and good energy and attractive people there who weren't on the bullshit, you know? So it feels good. There's nothing wrong with feeling good, right? But you got to know who and what you are and what your purpose and meaning is while you're there, and that you're doing good in your life. You know, that's part of feeling good is doing good, I would think.
That's the key.
Yeah, so I mean, there's no reason that Jack can't, you know, again, everything and anything's out there. You put up a sign today and go, Jack Talcott's healing sessions, and, you know, try your best not to fuck these broads when they show up, and be there for the work and the purpose and see what it brings forth. You know, you do some singing bowls, do some incense. You got a house there that you need to, you know, bring in some value for. Why not be open? You could do it for donation. Hey, come on down. You want to meet people anyway. I'm doing healing sessions. We're going to put on some music, light some incense, sit in a fucking circle, you know, and maybe we'll cuddle puddle after if there's anybody who's down for that. You know, if not, they all go run in the opposite direction, whatever. You had a new experience, right? You came at it from a new perspective instead of nobody will meet with me, nobody will have lunch with me. Well, bring them some fucking purpose and value. Bring them an experience. That's what I've learned here and in my life. And you're perfectly capable of doing that. You have that energy and that beingness inside of you. We've all seen it.
Hey, Paul, you're inspiring. Thank you, brother. These are great.
You know, we were on OTW show the other day, and we think we found either a relative of yours or a younger picture of you. Because we were on the subject of pepperoni nipples because it's got too big, you know. Did you see what's in your backstage, Paul? Tell me, does it look like Talcott, or is that Talcott younger, or is it one of his family
told you
members?
to stay out of my backstage. Now I got to look what's in there.
Maybe since he's up here, he could have tell us who this is.
Well, who is this? Exactly.
It looks like him.
Dude, no.
Dude, no. Just no.
No, you got to scroll up and see the nipples.
I really don't. That's the thing. I don't. I don't have to do that.
Well, that's the distinction. That's the distinction. That's what's going to clarify if it's Jack or not.
Just like I didn't have to approve that guy putting my likeness on a Live Without Fear button, I don't have to scroll on the nipple.
So just take your shirt off and show everybody your nipples, Jack.
No. I've got pretty nipples when I'm in shape, but
You got pretty
Pizer?
your nipples get in shape.
Pizer is such a bizarre creature. He needs help. He really does. He needs love and he needs psychiatric help.
He's Paul. There's like you've attracted. There's a lot like that, right? It's a swarm.
If you only knew.
I can imagine. Jeff is a good.
Did you literally say you have pretty nipples when you work out and they're in shape?
Yeah.
How does that work? How do you work out your nipples, Talcott? Like what
You don't work on your
exercises do you do to get nipple workout
You
done?
don't work on your nipples. Golly gee, snafu. Holy cows.
What do you want for Christmas, Snafu?
Yeah.
I want Talcott to give us a dance right now. Full minute. 60 seconds. Dance.
And
dance,
you said the whole world is gay? I mean, Talcott's making a point indirectly right now. You're the one going around calling everyone gay. We asked you again. They say that I'm weird because I say I want a stable and patriot wives to bear different aspects of gorilla children and do community with. You just asked Jack Talcott to dance for a minute straight for you, and yet everyone else is gay.
Yeah, I want him to dance on
I
the
want to
table for
look at
daddy.
that.
I want him to dance on the table for daddy.
It's completely platonic, you're saying? There's nothing gay about it?
Exactly. We're dancing for UNSLAVED for daddy. Platonically ungay. So can you dance for me for Christmas?
No.
Talcott, please.
No.
Why?
You've not been a good boy this year.
You're getting a spanking, Snafu. Talcott's going to spank you. He's going to put you on his knee.
No.
This is getting weird. What do you mean getting?
Right.
What does she mean getting? She must have just tuned
Yeah,
back
right.
in.
Maybe she just tuned in. She's new. This is weird.
So, hey, What's up with the house, Talcott? You still steady and secure, or are we gonna look at a new location soon? Because the New Year's coming up. You losing it soon? Keeping it? What's your deal?
Well, it's like the 90-day countdown is today, March 24th. I don't know.
Hashtag save Jack Talcott's house. I'm starting a movement right now, but it's gonna take us.
I'll get them going for you.
Habitat for enslavement. We're gonna have to work on it. Okay, we're gonna have to put forth some action from here on out to hashtag save Jack's house.
We could do like a fish tank thing, Paul.
Shut up, you pig creature. I'm trying to start a movement here. So what do we need to come up with to get this house saved right now? Like, what's the minimum payment?
I just had a plan, and you said, "Shut up, creature."
My God, please.
Daddy, can I save Talcottia?
He doesn't care about details, but he's got a plan already.
I got the plan. We do the fucking Talcott house.
How much do we have to shut up and give me the plan after? How much do we have to come up with?
Well, I haven't looked into specifics, but my goal, I want to come up with 300,000. I think 300,000 by March would be enough to bring it back. So,
okay, I should be able to swing that.
Well, it's possible. There's a lot of things that are possible, and I'm not. I don't know where it's going to lead. I don't know where.
You open a slinging dick, old school 80s style. There's a bunch of middle-aged white women out here who are
snowball
chomping at the bit.
In the old days, that would have been up my alley, but I don't think I could bring my heart to do that. I really don't.
See, this is the thing. Talcott's, he's got too good of a heart for the scam.
Right.
What are you going to do when they say get the fuck out of your house, Talcott?
I don't know, dude. I'm hoping to avoid that. And there's many ways to do it. There's many, many possibilities. And actually, in my future, in the future success, I imagine myself spending a couple years living out of suitcases, traveling around, just town to town, living a life of a wanderer.
I mean, that might be. All right, please. That might be, and slow state. That might be good for you, though. I think we've all had that phase. There might come a reconciliation point there because, again, everyone else can tell Jack what he needs to do. Jack has to come to that conclusion or revelation on his own. If that means giving everything up to be given everything back, like the Christ of being, then that may be the necessary course of action. Seems it's a relevant theme in all of our lives to some degree. Friends, family, careers, proposed paths in life, proposed opportunities and allies. You may have to give it all up at times to be given everything back. So I'm not necessarily down on that. Again, it's about where your heart's at. If you wanted to save that house, I think it could be done. Like I said, people can laugh and giggle, but I'm totally serious when it comes to marketing yourself on the ground, old school style, bringing in a group of folks who want a fellowship or be part of an experience and leaving it open for donation. You put a basket out, you'll be surprised, I think, what shows up. If you stay in that purpose and that meaning and that alignment, if not, then you let it go and you move on. It's a house, there's a whole life ahead for you and a whole bunch of new opportunities and experiences. You may be way better off. That's something I've learned, right? Letting go of possessions in order to possess self, in a sense, or to be possessed by self, and at the risk of using what sounds like a demonic language, but a Holy Spirit, in a sense, right, has to almost take hold of your inner space and lead, guide, protect, and reveal. And the only way to get that, it would seem at times, is to give up physical possessions, as we know.
And the value of a man, or the worth of a man that's given an inheritance through a silver spoon, isn't that valuable. Whereas a man that falleth 7 times and riseth up again is a just man. That sounds a lot like President Trump, who went through 7, Jack, pay attention, 7 bankruptcies. Did you know that when you go through a bankruptcy, they are required to allow you to keep a house, a car, and all of the amenities needed to live a normal life. So in that, you would keep the house. It's called making a claim on the equity. I'll not say it again.
Isn't it ironic, though, either way, whether through your decision or not, you will have to be forced within 90 days, and you could do it before 90 days to be out of your comfort zone and create, so to speak, for that value. Or you're going to be forced
Yeah, I
to
mean,
have
again,
to
I get that Jack is not money motivated. I was not either, and it was much to the dismay of many of the logical folks around me. So I can see one-for-one resonation with that. However, I can tell you firsthand, it's better to live a life in your purpose where value shows up than not. It's just common sense. So you don't have to be money motivated to be purpose and meaning motivated and therefore bring in value. And that's not being shallow and materialistic. That's validating, or verifying what you validated from within. Right. So I get the validation from within in that spirit of what I do. The verification shows up in the form of value, people, places, things, experiences. That's the universal manifestation.
I agree. Brother, you explain this stuff very well. And these are the lessons, the life lessons I've been learning myself firsthand about the freedom that comes from detaching ourselves from, oh my God, I'm the house. Oh, there's so many memories. Yeah. Okay. What's the future going to bring? And I don't know what the future's going to bring. I don't know if I'll stay in this house or not, but I know that what you're talking about, that joy, that peace, that confidence of knowing me, that can't be taken away.
Yeah, the memories are within you. They're not within the house. And I'm sure many of the memories within the house that have been made are less than desirable. There's probably better memories that could be made in the present for the future to be had when you get there of the past, if that makes sense. So I don't hold to people, places, things, concepts, memories. If anything, that's within me. It's not within the property that I occupy. And again, I find in my own experience, if I was to stay where I was, many of the negative memories might hold me back from my purpose and meaning. Because when you get to new places with new people and new things, there's a new energy, right? And that tends to push you or pull you toward a new lifestyle, right? So yeah, letting go is paramount, it would seem, as a lesson in a lot of these venues, with people, places, and things.
Part of this, though, too, is my faith. I have faith that there is a greater plan for me, for us, and I know the commitments and I know what I faced within myself already. I know what I'm prepared to do. Now, will it happen? Who knows? Good or bad.
Anton's bitch ass say, "Get me on Dr. Phil."
Like Katie says, I mean, again, you'd rather value show up than not, but to suppose that everybody is necessarily chiefly motivated by profit is not true. It's not correct because, again, I came on here doing what I do because I love what I do. The value showed up. I'm thankful and grateful for it. It keeps me inspired and motivated more than I would be probably normally. But that is not that was not and does not remain the chief motivation. And you can tell that in the way that I do the broadcast. If money was my motivation, I would just half-ass it. I wouldn't have my heart into it. I wouldn't be devoted as much as I would. And when things were going great, I'd check out on my responsibilities and others. So
Dude,
you've not seen that.
Motivation, if money was your motivation, Paul, you and I had some of the best pogos that we've been around to know how we could sell out. Brian Hype Impacts, Fugal.
Success should be the motivation, right? Success should be the motivation. With succession comes value in various forms. So that's what, if you want to say I'm chasing anything, I'm chasing that, and an aspect of that is peace, which you don't have to chase. You have to remember or remind yourself or recenter into. So there's many reasons I use this broadcast and this platform for myself and others. And profit was not and still does not remain a chief motivator. It's a source of motivation, but it is not my purpose and meaning here.
I'm sure everybody is familiar with the parable of the talents. And that's what we're talking about here. Because if you're going to sit on a talent or 2 talents or 3 talents and not do anything with them, then you're not making an investment in yourself and your abilities. Those abilities are the gifts that God granted you. And that is it's kind of like a disrespect to God. It's like if your mom gave you a gift and you told her you didn't like it, it would be a disrespect. See, this is the thing about the investment, is you're not investing so much in yourself, but in the glory of God that was provided so he could act through you.
Well, that just shows the discernment of these fucktards. That bitch's comment, that's stupid. These people have no discernment, and when shit hits the fan, the discernment that they just showed just now by saying that type of shit, they're gonna end up in the snow bleeding out, so to speak, allegedly.
We're all learning
out there.
We are all
fucktards. You're gonna learn.
We're all learning and growing together and apart. And one of what I have been
right there, and then
what I have been learning about is seriously the universal laws of creation, the art of exchange. My goal is I know that without even seeking money, that I know that if I find a way to share value, that the world will reward. And it may not be money, but it will be in different ways. The world.
I mean, again, like, you know, all of this stuff, this fantasy or this comedy is written off of real aspects of self. So if you want to be the love guru, it's all there for you. You know, whatever you want to be, it's all there for you. Like I said, you know, people can laugh at it like they did when I told the guy, put on the Spider-Man costume and go down to the center of town and put a bucket out and develop a rap, develop a routine, have interactions with people, right? They think that it's a game, right? If you do that, you will find success if you dedicate yourself to it, even if it's not with the costume and that venue, right? It will come about in the process. So you got to take a chance, you know? And again, you can call Jack Talcott or myself narcissistic and egotistical, because we choose to believe in ourselves in a world that's taught us to do the opposite. So it takes equal parts of belief in oneself and whatever you're going to try next to know that something's going to come out of it long term. So again, you know, I'm not going to go ahead.
You made a statement, and usually you're on point, and you know me, I haven't fucking snapped at you lately, but you just said something that was absolutely untrue. You and Jack are not the same when it comes down to he wants people to help him and do it for him.
It doesn't matter. That's a perspective. We are the same because we're one conscious and awareness, and we have a similar walk in life. The point is what we're doing with the fact that we're this being and have this experience, and what we believe is on the other side of it as an opportunity. Once that changes, the results change.
But you don't think that's a huge difference where you
of course it's a very small,
it's very
it's a very small but great gap in communication or understanding, right? It's like I've said many times, it's a very small, you know, nudge in consciousness into alignment and perspective in all ways that if you don't do, when you take the shot, you miss by a mile, right? It's just like the scope. You know, so one click to the right or left, and you miss by a mile by the time the shot gets there.
So I guess the question would be to Jack, what part of that is you're not grasping on when, like, Paul straight up says it, you know, and he's even defending you here, saying you guys still have it. But Jack, because you've always made it very clear that you feel that people aren't helping you or doing enough, you know, with everything. You've made it very clear. Where Paul's made it clear, like, I'll do this myself. I'd rather do it without people versus people, because, you know, blah, blah. Why is it such a difference on that aspect with you, Jack, on that thing where you want people or you feel people versus his aspect of it? You get what I'm saying?
You're on mute.
Sorry. I think I don't believe you're seeing me and what I'm offering as clearly as you think you are. Okay? Because, and I won't dismiss, I certainly have gone through periods in the year where I've asked for help. I have. But the other side of this is what I'm really trying to offer is the value of people joining together. Specifically, I'd love people to join with me. But I don't know that that's as bad of a thing as it's been painted out to be.
No, it's not. It's not that it's a negative or bad thing. Again, the what seems to be at first materialistic, shallow, or cold revelation is that folks will not want to be around you. And then again, then you can reappropriate how much you want to be around folks once you understand this truth on some level. It doesn't have to be the whole truth, but the majority of folks, if not all folks, do not want people in their life who do not bring value to their life. So if you're going to be logical or strategic about this, they'll argue it's narcissistic or egoic. If you're going to do the analysis, you have to say, well, where is it that I'm bringing value to others' lives, and where am I detracting from my own value to where I'm devaluing others' experience? You know, and this then comes out of that. The same thing I think that comes out for everybody is they're not doing and being enough to be a source of attraction and sustaining of an energy or a lifestyle with others, because they've not found that within themselves. So it's kind of paradoxical, because when you find it within yourself, then the attractions come. You don't want it as much, right? So we're just, I believe, at different points, right? At one point, you'd catch me saying, I'm looking for community. I want to do community. The more I do this walk, the more I go, whatever's meant for me is going to come forth. So I don't need to seek that. By creating or recognizing the value in me and what I have to put forth and staying on that, whatever's meant and whoever's meant will show up. That is the faith, right? So once you live in that and get the results, there really is no going back. I'm no longer in a seeking mode. I understand true enough for myself and for others. It's about what am I doing with it? And then what results come forth? What value comes forth? So I think that's how confidence and faith is cultivated. And again, I've said it from the beginning, maybe the house going is part of this process, because I see self as self and I see the overlay. It wasn't really until I went to the tent with pretty much just myself and that spirit and little to no material possessions that I started to reconvene in some ways with a different nature or spirit or perspective, right? So what would seem to be challenging in testing was actually a cocoon in a sorts, a place for growth. Right. And then once you can achieve flight as the butterfly, you're no longer bound by these worldly and earthly conceptualizations. I don't need other people in the sense of completion. I understand that I already am people and with people, and we can co-create an experience and interaction together if that's meant to be. Right. But you know it when you're there, and you know it by the quality of the experience and where it's going. So it's a process. Right, with this purpose, it's a long game, like I like to say, you know. And yeah, I mean, a lot of it too is we could talk forever about it. You get more and more to a space where you go, this is a remembering space, this is a reminder, this is a recreation space. There is really nothing to know and do. It's already there. You're already it, you know. And then you take that forward into whatever you do in the world, and you get the results. Your thoughts?
You're describing, yes, my life. I learned these lessons as well, just what you're saying. And the lesson of trusting and allowing myself the trust and faith that the community would emerge without my focus and intention, that it would grow. But my cocooning was similar yet different. I mean, I had beautiful home, but I've recently reconnected with my brother in some ways. We've been talking a little bit. I shared with him, I'm living a monastic life these days. My home, this house, or if I do end up in a tent or wherever I go, it is my temple where I spend my time in worship. And my house is typically silent, and it's just a place of peace. So my frustration in the past, though, is Paul, along what you're saying, I started really trying to find what is within me that I can share, what is good about me. And I know for a fact, I know the type of man I am, I know the type of friend I am, and it's kind of showed me similarities between myself and God. There's a divine light within all of us, and we are here to be instruments for God, for God's nurturing and creation. What I've been learning, though, my friends and family, they stopped talking to me and they stopped trusting me, and the two go together. Same thing with each of us and our higher self, each of us and God. We stop talking and we stop listening, and then we stop understanding who we are, who each other are.
Yeah, but there's a reason for it. That's what I've concluded, right? At the time, I believed, look what's happening to me that was happening for me. And now when we come full circle, I'm so in my purpose and meaning, they can't help but to be attracted to me, even if it's a painful attraction in a sense. Because again, I'm doing what they're not doing. I'm getting results they're not getting, right? Inside and outside myself. I'm living in a way that they would have thought was not possible. So again, purpose and meaning, when we bring it back full circle, is the attractor or not? Because there's many folks in my life who will not come back because they don't want to have to admit to themselves and everyone else that they bullshitted themselves and me, that they cast aspersions on me that were not completely true. They had their reasons for why they thought what they thought about me, but they failed to seek understanding. That sounds a lot like what you say oftentimes. So I know the walk as well as you or anyone else. We're not competing. This is a me versus me endeavor, just like it's a you versus you endeavor. We're all competing with ourselves to rise higher and do and be more and call in more for ourselves authentically, organically, not on a search for true power, but remembering and reuniting with the true power that is consciousness and awareness in its purest form and supernatural state.
I love how you said that too. It is a remembering. That's what I've heard that from others, but that's what I'm thinking it is. It really is. We are, it's a remembering of who we are, because this world wants us to be labeled and take on all these identities and beliefs. And we have the opportunity to remember who we truly are. And discover who we truly are. Because I'm going to
push it right now. I'm pushing it right now. I want a poster made. It's going to cost you like $5. I want a picture of Jack Talcott on it, smiling. And I want it to say, the Love Guru. And it's going to be, come on down to this address. And maybe no one shows up. No one shows up. You continue to do things as you've done. One person shows up. It starts with one and it continues. Right. But again, you got to stay in your purpose and meaning. You're not there to fuck the bitches and do family and play house. You're there to share whatever it is it means to be Jack Talcott, or I am that am, completely from whatever perspective you think brings value or peace to you and others. And there's totally an opportunity there to have fun with your beingness, since you've been able to see it from an outside perspective doing these panels, to call in a possible interactions with new people and for it to be centered around a purpose and meaning you resonate with, right? That's a great opportunity. And again, you leave it open for donation. Hey, I open my home. I open who and what I am from the inside out to others. I share everything with others. It's in a purpose and meaning that I find value in. If you find value in it, you're free to contribute. If not, it's not necessarily an expectation. Then when it starts to show up, you go, holy shit, I'm living in this purpose and meaning. They told me I was crazy. Now I'm manifesting everything that's meant for me. Right. And then guess what? You're going to start to see old people show up again and go, holy shit, Jack's made a change, for whatever that's worth, or not, in which case the change is better than being in the position you were in anyway. Right. So if you have to let them go to be part of the change, well, it's a win-win.
And you can't expect that once you change that will mend any old relationships. One of the main things that I found out in this last 7-8 year journey is that when my mom and dad told me that I was that the police were my authority and that I needed to change my last name, and they disowned me and all that, was that was the thing that I was attached to so much that was actually holding me back. That was the thing preventing me from doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing in my life, because all my life prior to that, I'd always been listening to them. When I started telling them, no, it's time to change, that I got to quit doing these things, and I don't care whether you like it or not. And that's when they got upset and said, okay, well, you're ruining our family name. Excuse me? Does God have a last name, guys? Does God have a family name? See, that's the blasphemy. Everybody wants to live in this popularity contest, and that's the attachment.
Well, that guy tries to make a point. While he's making a point, he misses the point, which is that, you know, I've been a living testament to, for whatever reasons, you could list logical reasons, you might be able to, but for whatever reasons, I've been able to bring in certain forms of value here doing what I do. So to say that Jack Talcott or anyone else could not do that and more would be a hypocrisy, right? So I get it. You're saying, hey, pick a purpose and meaning, work into that, generate the value if it's meant for you, and then surrender the outcome, you know, because you got to do something, right? The faith without works is dead. But then to turn around and say, well, he can't save the house by broadcasting every day, you don't know that, right? There's been a handful of folks who come forth with me and offered to invest untold amounts that I've not really done anything with, because again, I'm on a different kind of purpose and meaning. I'm not blocking blessings either. So I'm open to working with that. It's just, I'm kind of humble in the sense of I ain't going to take large amounts from other people, because I find there's usually consequences with that. I mean, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, but it's kind of a limited help that I accept, because the other side of that is I'll trick myself out of position and I won't work as hard. I won't stay as consistent. I won't be as responsible and accountable, and I won't really appreciate whatever it is that I get. I know that about myself. That's part of me being an addict, if you want to call it that, or just a fat, lazy motherfucker, you know? So I have to tell on myself, I have to keep myself in a certain lane, a certain energy, a certain position, not block blessings, but also not allow people to enable me completely to do less, right? Because that's been a theme and a pattern in my life. Your thoughts? I saw you hand up there.
Well, I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, but I understand what you're saying. You're cautious with receiving, and there's wisdom and honor in that. You don't want to receive unless it's appropriate and it's worth what your intentions are and aligned with your path. I honor that. I was thinking about this earlier today. My life, we've got similar stories in different ways, but my life has brought me a lot of different experiences, kind of unlike others, in many different ways. One of the things I've not yet experienced, though, is true wealth and abundance. I don't know that that's even been in my family tree, in my history, but my life has already been bizarre, and I've experienced a lot of things I never thought I would, so why not? Why not believe that, yes, I have been developing and I do have the value to offer the world, and that, you know, the rewards and the abundance, it's time for them to start flowing. I think it's
yeah, I mean, again, it's not like a spigot you turn on and off. I mean, you know, when you're kind of in alignment and you feel it, so it's easier to be faithful and surrender. But doing what I do, I got to show up every day, right? And it can be argued it's a good thing for me, right? It forces me to show up every day, hungry, inspired, thankful, and grateful, because that is the expression of thankful and grateful. If I show up 7 days a week for 500 days straight, it means I'm showing the universe I'm thankful and grateful for the opportunities that are here, whatever they may be, whatever forms of value. So that's the way that I show that to the universe and these folks, right? And it comes back. You know, I just believe that when you show up with a certain energy and you stay consistent and you bring value, whatever that is for your forte or your venue, and you call in the audience who resonates with that, it's only a matter of time that the value is going to show up. But again, they have to see and feel that value in you, and you have to be consistent and coherent, and there has to be sort of a cohesiveness to one's beingness in their life, right? So there can't be discrepancies, which I've noticed at times, with you, and I think it could be said of me in the past, if you didn't really know kind of what I was doing, presuming I completely did. But yeah, you got to believe in you. They got to believe in you. And there has to be value showing up for you every day. That translates to the audience, right? The audience basically feels somehow or another that I get value when I come here every day, or I wouldn't be here. So they give value because I'm getting value and I'm giving that away, and they can feel that, if nothing else.
It's an exchange. Right? Yeah. Sorry to interrupt, but yeah,
no, you're good.
It's an exchange. And I was going to be, I thought about being a dick. You're right. You're 500 days straight. That certainly shows your commitment, your dedication, your gratitude for the opportunity, capturing the opportunity as much and often as you can. Or you might be a little crazy too, Paul. Okay.
I mean, every great man in history was supposed to be crazy. Think
right?
about it. Tesla, Webster, the guy who wrote the dictionary, who we all reference now. It's the first name is Webster. They called him a nut. They said he was destroying the king's English, that he was puerile, an animal, unsophisticated, uncivilized. Sounds a lot like what they said about me. So you might argue if you're going to be a genius or you're going to be a great man, you might have to be a little bit crazy. Because you got to believe in yourself when no one else does, and they're telling you you're slated to fail. Who else but a crazy motherfucker would continue on in his purpose when the whole world seems to be against him? Either a crazy motherfucker or a faithful motherfucker, right? One way or the other. I guess you got to have one or the other, maybe a little bit of both.
94 cases, and I'm still going.
Hey, the future will determine, in the end, we'll look back and we'll find out, were we foolish or faithful? But Paul, yeah, it seems like there's many people. You were sharing some of it too. There's been people betting against us, and maybe a lot of us have people betting against us. Maybe that's just part of this human experience. But that shit ain't gonna work. Their bets are failing, as far as I'm concerned. Temporarily.
Well, listen, if you want to win a big pot by the end, you almost have to have them betting against you, right? You got to run the pot up if you want to take it all. So go ahead, place your bets, bet against me. I might be walking away with that big pot you put up.
Paul, thank you. Because there's a lot who decided to throw in some change into this pool against me. I fucking love that analogy. Thank you, Paul. This has been an inspiring afternoon and conversation. I really appreciate this.
Wow, absolutely. I think that's what we're here for. All right, you know what? We're 15 minutes over. You got your own thing, I'm sure, to do today. So give us a final word. We'll take it on home, and I'll be back tomorrow.
I'm just going to part much love, respect, gratitude, and sincere blessings, holiday blessings or otherwise, for all of UNSLAVED. I appreciate you guys. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you, Mr. Talcott. Wizard creature, Sean, final words?
Well, like I said earlier, I don't care so much for the celebration of one day for the supposed Jesus Christ character. So I choose to remember every day as his day. And it's kind of one of the bases that my companion and I have this relationship. It's coincidental in this that her birthday is on Valentine's Day. So I kind of impose on her that we celebrate our wedlock on the same day, that we hit all three in one day, and we can concentrate on the other 364 days of the year as being his. So if you get anything out of this season, please take that home with you. You know me, I love you, but I don't give a rat's ass whether you love me back. So may God bless you every day, and have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Wizard. Sean, final thoughts?
Yeah, I wanted to there were some questions I kind of wanted to insert there between you and Jack and whatnot, but there wasn't really good timing, and you guys had a flow going. I didn't really know when to get in, but it just, I'll bring it up again. But basically, I was just kind of curious to know, essentially, when you yourself started to get away from certain people, places, and things, started to see a new way open up for you. Maybe I don't know how it was for you, what the experience was, if it was kind of like a light that shined in your life or what. As far as getting out of the addictions and again, people, places, and things, and bad choices and lifestyle behaviors,
You
etc.
just start to feel more care for yourself and what you're going to do with each day and each moment. That's all it is, right? And it looks a lot like being selfish. And that's what folks are going to call you. You don't go here, you don't go there, you don't care about what we're doing or what. No, I'm focused on me and my purpose and meaning, because when I didn't, I was a goner anyway. I was of no use and of no value to myself and others. So that's just the way that I see it, right? Like, in order for you to have the best version of me, I have to be focused on me and my purpose and meaning and certain discipline, right? And you can call that maybe an addict. You can call it whatever you'd like to call it. It really doesn't matter. If you really care about me and love me, then you want to see me at my best. If me at my best means me with me most of my time, doing whatever it is that I do and focused on getting to something inside and outside of me, well, then you should support that. Long as I'm not an impediment to you, long as I'm wishing you well and, bringing value to your life or loving you from a distance, right? So that's how just what it became for me is extreme purpose. I got to focus on me. I have to be the best version of me, moment to moment, whatever that means. Is it ever complete all the way? Maybe, maybe not, but when I slack from that and I put my attention, my time, energy, attention, and resources on other people, places, and things, I miss out on what's available for me, even if that's just peace, right? So it's about how much you want peace in your life. You have people in your life, you're going to have less peace in your life, especially if they're not the right people, So if you don't have the right people in your life, get rid of them. Focus on your inspiration, your empowerment, your purpose, your peace, and then the right people will show up, or they won't, in which case you'll be inspired, empowered, and peaceful. What more could one ask from life?
Well put. Yeah, I mean, I again, and I wanted to kind of tie in the physical, the material, the objects. They say a lot of people who are dealing with traumas have unrepressed or unaddressed, I should say, traumas have the hoarding thing, issue. Not necessarily like they show on the TV show, but to a degree
you don't know how to let go.
Right.
And that's why I tell you, you show it on these panels in your attachment style. How many times have you come up here at the end? I'm not going to say it's happening today. I'm just saying, how many times have you shown you're like the guy at the party who can't leave? So how long you want to talk about your trauma before you work into a space of a motherfucker that doesn't look completely traumatized? It looks like certain things. So if you don't know what it feels like, you could always fake it till you make it, and you could live what it looks like. And then maybe you'll start to feel what it looks like. So you don't think there was a point in my development where I was the same guy, couldn't leave the party, didn't know why? Because I was searching for something in people, places, and things. So I started to practice. If I'm going to go out and interact after a certain time, I'm leaving. I'm choosing that ahead of time, conscious and aware living. So by 10 o'clock, I'm leaving when everyone else is just warming up and they're just getting ready to go and whatever else. And why are you leaving? And no, I'm going. I got to go. It's my own practice for me. So it starts there, right? And then it carries over into work life. You go to work. You put yourself to some purpose and meaning. If you don't have your own and you're not going to be minding your own business, you go help someone else mind their business. It gives you some purpose and meaning and responsibility and ethic in your life, somewhere to show up for yourself and others every day, right? And then while you're there, you practice the same thing. I don't give a fuck about your bullshit family. I don't give a fuck about your this, that, and the third. I'm here to work. I'm not here to make friends. I'm not here to fuck off my paycheck after work out at the club and at the bar. So you practice coming every day and leaving every day. fulfilling whatever purpose and meaning is available, rising in that organization, and telling everybody else that you're not going to live like them, whether it's directly or indirectly with your actions. That's how somebody gets successful. That's how somebody gets self-control and self-mastery. That's how somebody gets self-respect and self-confidence. I don't just go anywhere with anybody who will have me because I'm so fucking lost and desperate and needy. Far from it. You're never going to find me with them doing what they do because I'm on a different walk at this point. And if I don't feel it completely authentically, I live it how it's supposed to look. And then it starts to feel more natural to me over time. It's about what you want here, right? Or it's about recognizing what you need here. Because we may want a whole bunch of shit and recognize it's not good for us. It's not working. It's not what we need. So you live into that. So I recognize at a certain point, beyond what the fuck I wanted and didn't want, I needed a certain level of structure and discipline and purpose and meaning and principles in my life. And I needed a certain amount of activity, you know, co-creation, if you will. Again, how many people go and get a job that they don't like and practice doing it in a way that changes the experience? You know, it's one thing to go and chase a dream and be ultimately successful that way. You might get there by learning how to lose. In order to learn how to win, you have to learn how to lose. What does it mean? Go do a loser failures job like I did for years. And they tell you, you're so intelligent. You're so this, you're so that. Why are you here? Because I'm learning to do with less. I'm learning to enjoy whatever's opportunities put forth. I'm learning to not be unthankful and ungrateful and selfish and entitled. So
And
it
that's
looks
why
like, go ahead.
Yeah, and that's why I take back in a lot of ways what I said a couple weeks back. Right after I said it, I realized how, you know, kind of pridefully egoic, righteously indignant in a way that I was when I was talking about if you remember or not, I don't, probably not, but we were basically talking about I was talking about my past with the food and working in food and whatnot, and then you were saying, would you get a job basically doing XYZ again, or whatever? Would you settle for
How
a?
can I, the
And I
point
said
is,
no,
how
you
can
know, but I
I,
totally would. I totally would. I would work at
how can I
fucking.
work with you if you won't take suggestions? If I
I'm
told
just
you
saying,
right
yeah, I'm
now, if I
not close to
told
the
you
no.
right now, not because it's me telling you to do it, but because I believe you'll get some value out of it if you work it, to go do something and you won't take the suggestion, right? It's like either you use me, like I get it because you're in a different mode today and I appreciate it. So then take a suggestion. You know, work the suggestion the way that I tell you I've worked it. See if it works for you. If it doesn't, you could always go back to whatever the fuck you've been doing. So again, it starts with going, how am I going to bring something completely different to this fucking place and this job? Even if it's just inside of myself, find it, locate it, live from that space. It's possible. If you retrain your beingness, all of us are trained to see how everything sucks. It's not going to work. It's going to fail. What's the point? Instead of going, I'm going to bring something completely new to this thing and everybody's going to feel better about it, including me. And we're going to get to a whole bunch of value in between. You got to get alive again. And it starts with little activities. It starts with little exercises and practices, but you got to take suggestions. If not, you're just going to keep asking me questions forever. And then a part of you knows what the fuck I've been saying is true about me, and therefore it's true about you. So you got to go past that wall and that complacency and that rut that you build up for yourself, right? I'm not good enough. There's no purpose for me. There's no place. I don't know what I want to do, blah, 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 blah. All the lukewarm, mediocre shit. You got to get inspired again. And you got to get lit up about yourself and your life. If not about yourself and your life, about learning. You're going to say, I'm going to learn this time around. I don't even give a fuck if I don't get what I want. I'm going to learn this time about myself first and foremost. So you could go get a job right now, sweeping the floors. It's going to bring you an X amount. Do you need the money? No, because someone's going to enable you or because you know how to get by with less. Okay, practice that, fulfilling some purpose. Practice showing up for yourself and others every day and developing responsibility and accountability. Practice learning how to love whatever you do and put your all into it. And then that will start to translate to something else. If you got a job at Applebee's today being a waiter, you'd probably do great. Okay. You'd probably have all these bitches hitting on you. if you showed up with a fucking light in your eyes and a care for yourself and your life, you'd be getting numbers right and left. You'd be getting verifications of certain validations you got in here, right? You'd be making a few bucks that you could live off of or just put away. If you're going to live at mama's house, whatever, then stack and work towards some, you know? And in the meantime, you're going to learn more about yourself and people because you're going to have an opportunity to have 1,000 fucking conversations a day and fuck them up. Because who gives a fuck? You don't need the money. Remember, I just told you that's how you're already living now. So you can live that way. I don't even need the money from this motherfucker. I'm living at mama's house and I'm stacking. So if I get it today, I get it. If I don't, I'm not going to do without food. But guess what I am going to get today? Knowledge of self and others through conversation. Because they'll tell me, what would they tell me? Paulie boy, being a waiter is not a place to develop conversation. You're going to get yourself in trouble. Yeah, that's true. But then you learn about the art of living in conversation. You learn when to drop a fucking gem, presuming you got one. And then you learn when you have gems and when you don't. You got a bunch of conspiracy bullshit that nobody wants to hear. So you learn what to do and when and why and how. And that's the art of living. And you only get that through day-to-day experience. And going past your comfort zone and learning how to be comfortable with the uncomfortable, right? And learning to find value and purpose and meaning even in the most mediocre and mundane tasks. That's where the power is going to come. The value is going to come. That's when new opportunities are going to open up. That's when a motherfucker's going to tell you, hey, Penal, come run this whole fucking place. You're the man of the month. And you start to feel like you've arrived in a sense. And it sounds foolish because everybody lives in a culture where they want to be some jerk off like Kim Kardashian. Right? Some star and nobody knows what for, right? At least a motherfucker at the Applebee's who's employee of the month, he knows what the fuck he's a star for because he put in the time and energy, attention, because he put in the fucking work, because he gives exemplary service, and the motherfucker's got energy and conversation for days. Do you want to be the man in your town or do you want to be just another fucking loser, failure, jerk off who's not working towards something? And
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
not
I'll be
even
honest.
about being egoic and prideful. It's about how you feel from the inside out.
Yeah, I think the last gig I did have, last job I was working in food about almost a couple years now ago. Well, on the books anyway. Last on the books job. I was opening and closing the place. I was actually on some level kind of running it in that sense. I was again oftentimes opening and closing the doors. So that was a first for me for any food job, any restaurant job. And ironically, you know, I don't know what really happened there, if it was a mixture of my character flaws, you know, what people would call ADD and OCD and other factors, which I know what they are in reality. They're poor choices and et cetera, largely.
Yeah, when you're given more accountability, responsibility, you act out. And self-sabotage is most likely what I would guess. I don't know that.
I also realized too, though, that it was shortly after they figured out the legal name and then may have seen the background in the past when I was younger. And again, that's been a problem for me in the past as well. So
here you go. Here you go with this negative shit. Find the right restaurant. Most of them. Here we go with the most of them. Because he has some, he thinks, experience. This is who you get away from. You don't listen to these people. You fucking go down there and you perform. How do you know the right restaurant unless you've been to 10 wrong ones? Fuck not. How do you know the right one? How do you know the right bitch until you've been with 10 of the wrong ones? So listening to your advice, you'll never date again. You'll never fucking work at Applebee's. You'll never do nothing ever again because most of them ain't shit, right? Well, that's where you start to decide you're not them and what it looks and feels like. So again, you know, and how many folks go to a place and don't try to fucking be a part of it, right? And actually change something. They go there, this place sucks. What the fuck are you bringing to it? Then leave. They'll work 10 years in a place they say sucks and never bring a fucking good idea or a good dish to the fucking table. How do you know you're not the right person to come into the wrong restaurant and help make it right? This is why you're all self-limiting with your fucking non-ego. You all say I'm so narcissistic and egoic. No, I just learned how to believe in myself and then see where the fuck it goes and have faith. So you think I'm going to sit there and think like that? No, I'm going to say, if this place sucks, I'm going to make it fucking better or I'm not going to be here. And that's how you learn to find the right one, is by fucking with a whole bunch of wrong ones.
Well, I definitely had my fair share of that, I would say. Restaurants that you know how they say if I'd go back and change it, I wouldn't. Well, in this case, there probably are a couple incidents that I actually would, but for the most part, I wouldn't. I got a lot out of all my
Right, here
experiences,
we go with this
especially
guy, right?
making pasta from scratch, man. Especially making pasta from scratch.
All
But
right,
anyway.
that's great. I want to see who you're making fucking pasta for by tomorrow. It's called work there for a little while, and if you're working with a bunch of low energy leeches, then you do all the work, then you change joints. Yeah, maybe, or you learn how to lead. You ever think of learning leadership? You ever think of finding a voice? You ever think of like motivating other motherfuckers to raise their standard and their morale? Or do you just do everything and stay quiet, and then when it doesn't go right, you fucking leave and leave the owner with all the weak links? This is why you don't want to be in a leadership position. Right? That's the difference. See, I'm about pimping at this point. If I come to a place and I'm doing all the work, well, I'm going to be getting all the money too. And then guess what? I'm going to be pimping on all the other broken hoes who don't want to rise to the occasion. And I'm going to force them to fucking compete with me to rise to the occasion. And I'm going to raise the morale. Or I'm going to go directly to management and say, hey, bro, I'm your star player. You got to get these motherfuckers up out of the paint to make room for 3 more to come in. And when 3 more come in, I'm going to train them, and I'm going to tell you if they're good to go, or I'm going to send them packing. And we're going to do that in succession till we find the 3-star players that are going to join the team. No, you don't want a managerial leadership position with more responsibility and accountability and more money. This is what I mean. How much of an asset and a value can you make yourself to the motherfucker running the show, to the coach of the team? How much responsibility and accountability can you take on for yourself and whoever you're fucking with? How much can you have faith and patience and care for others in a way they may not care for themselves till they can get into position and do it right, or play the position of 86 in them? Because everybody wants to talk shit, but none of you motherfuckers want to be the one to pull the trigger. If the guy said, you know what? You are a star player. Get in there and fire these 3 bitch-ass motherfuckers. I'm right in there. Hey, you got to go. You got to go. It's not working. What? Okay, you get one more chance. Come in tonight and fucking perform and keep that energy all week, and we'll see where it goes. You're on probation. If not, you got to go, because I'm going to bring in 3 people who are going to get it done and then some. No, just show up, do all the work, complain about everyone else, and when it doesn't go your way, just leave and go somewhere else. Right. Words of a loser failure who's only ever going to occupy a limited position and never going to get in a position of leadership, responsibility, accountability, and managerial status, right? And a bigger check. Because when you have the accountability, responsibility, and you're willing to be a head assistant coach to the coach of the team, they see you give a fuck about the organization and wanting everybody to do better. So they put you in position. That's how you get there, by actually caring and actually having the tools and the wherewithal and the will to partially put yourself in that position or be seen to be put in that position, and then accepting that role and playing it properly.
Yeah, I know me well enough to know that if I were to take a lead position somewhere, I myself feel I'd be a lot more suitable as, like, say, something in line with like a quality control, food quality and food science quality control, as opposed to like a head chef or what do you call it, a line cook, head line cook. Because I have attempted that position, and man, yeah, it didn't work out too
Listen,
well.
every organization I'm sure is different. And if you work for an organization where they're strapped for cash, or they don't really care, or they want more people to take on too much responsibility, and they don't have the proper team and the proper procedure, you're going to be overtaxed, right? So there's a fine line between showing up and leaving it all on the field versus not having the proper process, procedure, or teammates to do the job properly. And you're kind of left out there, you know? So I'm sure if you go to the top restaurants in the country, they're going to have a certain flow to their shit, and they're never going to be too backed up. And even if they got to move and shake, it's going to be for a limited amount of time throughout the night, and they're all going to work as a unit, right? Everybody knows their position, their role, their place, and nobody's left holding the bag. But again, It's top down. You got to have somebody who's working a program like that, who could lay it out to everybody and create that. You know, a lot of folks want to own a business and not understand what comes with that, it seems. I've been there, watching somebody above me not give a fuck about their own shit and not thinking that you got to be first to leave, first to come and last to leave. They want to show up midday and then check out. It don't work that way. So, you know, you want to open a restaurant and run it, you got to have the program and the plan and everything set up. And then you got to put the people in position who are right to be there. If not, you got to get them the fuck out of there. But you got to have that skill. That's a discernment in itself, a skill and ability to know who's fit for what and who's not, and how to get them there or not, and how to let them go and cut them loose when they're going to drag you down. You know, because a lot of folks, they're people. They open a business, they think it's going to be something. They start hiring their friends and family and whoever else walks in, and then they can't cut them loose because they're emotionally invested. And then they wind up bringing down the whole thing. You know, so yeah, discernment's a motherfucker. It'll work for you and everything. It'll work against you and everything if you don't have it. And the same thing with emotion, energy, emotion. It can work for you and drive you. It can work against you and hold you back and hold you down, keep you from what's meant for you. All right, give me the final word, man. I want to wrap up. I need to eat my first meal for the day.
Yeah, season's greetings to all, man. 'Tis the season. Another awesome Christmas with at TALCOTTiA on Slavia, Pineal Land, Wizard Land. It's great. It's a great stream. It would be cool if some other people showed up that have been gone for a while. I won't say any names, but yeah. Peace, everybody. Have a great. If you got people in your life that you can that you care for and love on some level, then that alone you should count your blessings for. But even if you don't have that, you got yourself. Again, what better company than yourself to have around? You come in this world alone and you leave this world alone. So if you're not comfortable with yourself, like Mr. Paul here, I'd say on many levels is. But again, I don't think you're comfortable in the sense that you're very fluid. You're a dynamic person. You're always changing in my opinion, but at the same time staying true to yourself and who you are. So I appreciate that. I respect that, man. That's why I come back around. And same goes for most people who come around here oftentimes, with the exception of a few who are complete and total metaversal miscreants. But I'm out. Enjoy your meal.
If you don't like yourself, if you don't trust yourself, well, who will? You know, and that's the bottom line. You know, so for folks who don't have people in their life, ask yourself why. There might be an answer to that question that you could work on. You know, so the more that you like yourself, the more that you trust yourself, the more that you feel comfortable with yourself in your own presence with no one else, the more others will. If you don't have that, how are you going to give that away and who's going to want you? So again, you can't run from self and self-development. You know, you can try to, but at your own detriment, right? So all the things that you say you want will wind up leaving you or not being available for you, people, places, and things. So ironically, paradoxically, if you want people, places, and things in your life, you have to learn to detach from people, places, and things. Focus on purpose and meaning and value to draw in those things. I'll see you later, Sean. I'm throwing you out. I got Joshua here. What's going on, Josh? You want to give a final word?
Oh, what's going on, Paul? Yeah, I unfortunately was slaving it up today. So unfortunately, I was unable to join the broadcast. Thankfully for everybody listening, I was not able to join the broadcast. But but I just wanted to come up, say Merry Christmas. I don't know if you plan on streaming tomorrow. I thought I heard you say you did. So if that's the case, we'll see you tomorrow. Anybody in the audience listening that doesn't make it tomorrow, have a Merry Christmas. And appreciate you doing the streaming and stuff. And my platform is your platform, man.
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate that extension, that overture, right? I think that it shows that you value me and or what I do, and it gives your audience something to look at and listen to. And, you know, I think that you have a good heart. You want to do good and be good in this life. I think you're just kind of figuring out, like we all are, what that means for you at this time. So
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing, you know, more of the completion of that process come about. But yeah, I think that I always appreciate having access to a new audience just to see, if nothing else, how I'm received or the information is received. And spice up the conversation. And, it's always going to trigger a bunch of other folks on the metaverse who are watching, waiting, and hating. So all the better,
Oh yeah,
right?
they're already triggered. They're already triggered. I mean, I saw a couple comments asking like, what's the point of this or whatever. And let them wonder. Let them just keep wondering what it's all about. But like Jenny James said yesterday, because I noticed she comes over to my channel a lot, and first thing she said is, "Hey, I love you," and this guy spits the truth. So, if folks are into the truth game, that's all I'm interested in is the truth game, and I'm perfectly comfortable saying I don't know if I don't know something.
Well, that's humble of you, showing humility. And again, the ones who can't figure out whatever it is that we're doing here probably not meant to be here. So we let them go in peace and grace. All right, I'm gonna put you to the back. I think I'm gonna sign off. I'm
Christmas.
ravenous at this point.
Yeah, Merry
Yes,
Christmas, guys.
Merry Xmas, Christ Killer celebration / supposed birthday. Who knows what at this point?
All right, take care.
All right. All right, folks, a resounding success. That's what I'm calling it. If for no other reason, because I, your humble broadcast host, one Paul Unslaved, referred to as the God of all media, has facilitated this interaction, this co-creation. So that's good enough for it to be deemed valuable as far as I'm concerned, right? I'm going to speak life into myself and others, and I'm going to recognize my value and the value in others, and I'm going to propel myself and others to rise to an occasion where we co-create with a different level of empowerment, inspiration, and peace. So that is the modality. That is the overall purpose and meaning. Whatever else happens in between, you can't fault me for. I mean, we are on stage in front of a camera. You got to pimp and mac once in a while. You got to stir up a hornet's nest, do a little bit of chaos, controversy, all the things, right? But lately, it's been a good vibe. We look forward to having Steve Martin back. Hopefully they'll stop doxing him and fucking with his internet. If not, we're going to have to get him a new setup. All right, folks, I'm out of here. Go get some sustenance. Go get some rest. If you haven't been productive yet today or had an authentic conversation you need to have, get on it. I don't know what you're still doing there looking at me. All right. I'll take my leave now. Mazel tov, shalom, season's greetings, and such. I'm out of here.